Coca-Cola. Marty Hedican at the red line shoots it in. Belfour clears it up the boards to Chelios. Now, of course, one thing you've got, not only a small ice service, but a slow one at center. Blue score! Stastny! Stastny! Oh, what a big win! In overtime! And the Blues surround and congratulate their newcomer, the 37-year-old future Hall of Famer Peter Stastny. That was the last meeting between the St. Louis Blues and the Chicago Blackhawks 2 weeks ago. Tonight, the St. Louis Blues return home as they host the Chicago Blackhawks. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the St. Louis Arena. I'm Mike Lang. Ken Wilson is on assignment along with Joe Micheletti, and the Blues return home right in the midst of a big battle down the stretch run, Joe, and they're looking for a little room to move up and get in the playoff picture.
Yeah, this is a team that has struggled, played indifferent hockey for a while, but since the new players have been in the lineup, Mike, this is a team that has played much better, especially on this road trip, playing well in Florida and also playing a good game in Detroit. Meanwhile, the standings, if you look at them right now, Detroit ahead in the Central Division, I should say, by 4 points over Toronto, and right now Calgary, of course, is going to win the Pacific. They'll be the number 2 seed in the division.
Of course, the Blues will either play Toronto or Dallas when the Chicago Blackhawks come to town, and they have been a cool team. They are 2-7-1 in the last 10 games, just the opposite of the St. Louis Blues, as the Blues have done very well. In the last 9 games against Chicago, they are 6-2-1, and I know that right now Bob Berry, the coach of the Blues, would really like to see things go his way, and he's made a couple of changes to get the offense going.
Yeah, this has been a team that's going through somewhat of a different look as well. You know, in the past, we've known the Chicago team to be big, tough, play a physical game, but like the Blues, they have gone with more talent up front. When you look at some of the new faces on this team, well, first of all, let's talk about Peter Nedved being switched to the wing now with Bob Berry trying to put together 2 full lines. So Peter Nedved, normally a center, is going to be playing left wing with Brett Hull on the other side and Peter Stastny in the middle. So Bobby Berry will have his two best lines put together for this game.
And a lot of new-looking, new faces on the Chicago team, too. They have brought in some new people, and they've brought some speed to their lineup.
Yeah, they really have speed in you. Tony Amonte came over from the New York Rangers, just 23 years of age with a great deal of talent. Paul Eisenbar, we know him within the division, was with Detroit, had some very good years with Detroit, but not a very good year in Winnipeg. He is now on this team. And then back on defense, Gary Suter. Boy, he's had some terrific years in Calgary over the years, and he should solidify the Hawks defense.
It's always a great division battle. Bruce Affleck and Rick Mahar are standing by downstairs. I know they're looking forward to the game, gentlemen. They certainly are, Mike, and really the thing that we look at right away is the 2 goaltenders. 2 great goaltenders who've been the main backstop of these teams the last couple of years with. They really have, and it started with Eddie Belfour. He's kept this team second in penalty killing over the last 4 years, and not going to change this year. I think he'll finish second. He's kept his goals against at 2.5 or better for the last 4 years. On the other hand, Curtis Joseph has kept his team in the top 10 of penalty killing the last 3 years, but this year's the first year they might finish out of the top 10.
As you look at this battle, Chicago always likes to have a quick start and try and win it in the first period, don't they?
They really do. They come out flying, not unlike Chicago Stadium. They like to start quick and get a lead and build from there.
It's hard to believe this may be the last regular season meeting between these 2 teams in this building. It's the 178th meeting. It should be a good one, and at the end, the fans are looking forward to, Mike.
All right, Bruce and Rick, and in just a moment, the St. Louis Blues will host the Chicago Blackhawks. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. Feeling with the singing of the national anthem here at the arena, and we'll check the goaltenders for tonight's contest.
Well, our goaltenders, as Rick and Bruce were talking about, Ed Belfour, after a 5-game layoff, is back in goal for the Chicago Blackhawks. his 35th win of the season, and of course a very impressive goals against average. Meanwhile, Curtis Joseph, who played a terrific game in Detroit on Sunday afternoon, will be back looking for his 34th win of the season. The officials for the games tonight, Don is the referee, Pat DePuzzo and Dan McCourt are the linesmen. Fly Southwest Airlines, it's just plain smart. Now the crowd's all ready to go here, Mike, and these two teams, when they get together, it's always a great battle here at the arena.
Season series 3-3-1 last year between these two. But the Blues have been the better team this year so far, and the puck dropped by Horacek and we're underway. Rick Zombo handles it for the Blues. The Baron and the St. Louis in. St. Louis moving left to right. They dump it back into the Chicago zone. Jeremy Roenick in a starting role for Chicago. Coach Darryl Sutter, and he swings it ahead, but not out of his zone. Brett Hall will tap it back on the near boards. Suter trying to clear the area for Chicago. He can't do it. Now Zombo turns the puck into the far corner. Chelios, the Chicago defenseman. Dump it back behind the Chicago net. Comes to Randy Cunningham, who plays the left wing here on Roenick's unit with Graham on the right side. Suter to the right side into the St. Louis end. And Graham trying to get to the puck. He couldn't. He is the captain of the Chicago club. Roenick put it behind the net, and Graham took a big bump from Baron. Out of front to Roenick, though. One-on-one against Joseph. He shoots it. Just pulled the trigger a little too quick. Light went on, but it did not go in. Koharski was right in position. The puck cleared back into Chicago ice. And here goes Chelios returning to take command of it. So Roenick had Joseph one-on-one, but as I like to say, Big Ben struck one. He cut the pipe when he didn't score. Eisenbart shoots it down to the right wing corner of the St. Louis zone. Eisenbart just acquired from Winnipeg. And he gets back behind the St. Louis goal. The Rich Sutter turns with a wraparound try. Can't get that by Joseph. And it goes wide. Sutter will try again. He goes behind the net. Looking to pull the trigger, and he can't do it. And Jandy and the Blues slips it on the center. Kevin Miller working one wing, Shanahan on the other for St. Louis right now. And Chicago again pressuring the play back into the Chicago zone. They steered around to the near corner. Good action so far. Shanahan of the Blues up the left side to Jandy. They're still scoreless here. Minute and a half into the contest. Now Steve Duchesne winds his way back for St. Louis, and he comes to the Chicago line, shoots towards Belfour. He'll deflect it off that goaltender play. Eisenbart puts it up just under the scoreboard, and it bounces up to the St. Louis line on the far side. Got a chance to take command of it. Going into the St. Louis end behind the net. One arm comes around, trying to make a play on Joseph. Can't beat him on the short side. Billy takes it. We got a holding call, though, against the Blues. St. Louis will be penalized here, and they will be short-handed.
Now Murray Barron will get the penalty for holding in front of the Blues net, and Chicago will have their first power play of this game. The first power play for them, the first power play of the game. A minute and 50 seconds into this game. Thus far, Chicago has come out, had most of the pressure in the early going of this game, doing a good job forechecking. We talked about their team having more of a talented lineup than they did before, and there's certainly been some personnel changes on the Chicago Blackhawks.
And here are the scratches for the Blues.
Alexei Kasatonov is out tonight. He's suspended for one game, getting his second high sticking infraction in Tampa Bay the other night, so he will sit this one out. Basil McRae is out with a rib injury. Philippe Bozon out with a concussion, and Denny Chassé out with the disc problem.
Here are the scratches for the Hawks. Brent Sutter with a hip flexor. Robert Kirk with a shoulder. Michel Goulet with a concussion. Steve Smyth out with a broken leg. And down until two, Cam Russell, Neil Wilkinson, and Patrick Poulin out.
And meanwhile, the best chance of the game thus far. What a play by Roenick, just picking up the loose puck, walking in front. Roenick tries to be patient, and with a quick shot, it goes off the post. Now the red light had gone on the play, but Roenick showing some patience. Rick Zombo was going after him, pressuring him, and the quick shot by Roenick off the post.
The face-off will be in the blue zone to the line of Joseph, and it's dropped. Chicago working here on the power play. They are 19th overall in the league at 17.5%.
And one of the things with the Chicago power play, they have struggled all season long on the power play. But in the last 9 games, they are at a 25% clip, and really it's because of the new talent that this team has acquired.
Joe Murphy of the Hawks now trying to slip it in front to Roenick, and he can't do it as the puck is moved away by the Blues. Blues 12th in the league in penalty killing at 81.6%. The Hawks again steer it into St. Louis territory. Suter can't get a handle on it, comes all the way back towards Belfour. And the puck out of action here.
Well, the Jeremy Roenick, another terrific season for Roenick, trying to He's only 5 goals short of the 50-goal mark for the 3rd consecutive year. In fact, he's the first Chicago Blackhawk in history to have 3 consecutive 100-point seasons. He's got 101 points on the year.
Stepping out here with a face-off inside the Blues line with Tony Amati. Hold the left wing, Murphy on the right side. The point will be Chelios and Suter. Killers for the Blues here. Jim Montgomery working out with Brett Hall. The Blues win the face-off, and they dump it to the Chicago zone. To the right of the net, Belfour will set it up for Chelios. No score first period. 1:17 now on the penalty to Murray Barron. Blues defenseman who went off. Murray carries the puck into the Blues end. To the right point, goes to Chelios, moves in with a slap shot. Joseph the save on that. Bouncing behind the net. Blues chase after it. Murphy around to Tony Amati, the former New York Ranger. Steps up towards the net, trying to make a move, and he can't get the backhander off. To the right point, it comes to Chelios. He'll step up, trying to slip it over the Rolling, intercepted by Brett Hall. Good read by Hall. And he'll shoot it all the way to the net. Blues again. Grab the biscuit, and here's Eisenbart. Trying to rip it back into the Blues zone, and he can't do it. St. Louis stopping the play at the blue line. Kevin Miller with a steal. Short-handed for the Blues. Comes in to try and center it. It hit the side of the net. Drop back along the near board. Blues wants Chelios corralled again, but the Hawks are running out of time here. Chelios skating tall, surveys the scene, comes to center ice, and he'll fire it wide of Joseph. It'll come off the near left point to Suter. Gary Suter. Take a shot, now dropping over to Chelios to the right point, snap it towards the net. That's blocked in front, cleared away by the Blues. They apparently have killed the first penalty tonight, Joe.
Yeah, and what they have done, when we talked about the Blues struggling back a few weeks ago, their specialty teams had not been very strong. Their power play was not producing, their penalty killing was weak, and they're much better lately.
And Hall now brings it back into the Chicago zone. Nedved over to Rick Zombo. Zombo in the left wing circle. Settles in, being chased by Eisenbart. They put it between the circles now, and Suter will ram that one up the length of the ice. We could get an icing call against Chicago, and we will as Housley will touch up. No score here in the first period, 15:43 left. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
We have played 4 minutes and 17 seconds of this first period. Curtis Joseph has been the busier of the two goaltenders. 5 shots for the Chicago Blackhawks, 1 for the St. Louis Blues. A good save on Chris Chelios. This was on the power play. Chelios was able to walk on the top of the circle, and Joseph with a fine pad save.
Joe, they did review that shot by Roenick on the net that caught the pipe, and the goal judges did, but they did the same thing as Koharski did. They did not allow the goal, and here's a shot by Chance of the Blues net. Rich Sutter's going to go after it on the rebound of the near corner. He can't come up with it, but Carney will. Left point, wristed towards the goal. Stastny got his body in front, comes back to Carney, and he drills one towards the goal, and it's stopped in front again by Brett Hall. Back to Carney one more time. That's 3 times. He drops it back in the corner. Now Doug Crossman of the Blues trying to clear it out. Stastny takes a whack at it and does push it onto center ice. Weinrich lost the puck. Oh, here he comes to the Blues. Line. Belfour, he gets the rebound back and stops it again. And he's Belfour. Moments in front of his goal.
Well, the initial play was Weinrich handling the puck and then losing it. That gave Brett Hall an opportunity. A good job by Nedved on Weinrich, and then Brett Hall with the long shot. Now, a good defensive play by Weinrich. He just gets a piece of it, and it goes wide, and the Blues with Phil Housley moving in. Quick puck movement. Stastny will end up with the other play, and there's Weinrich again. He makes a good play deflecting it, and then it slowly came into Belfour, and Belfour was able to make the first save, and then again on the rebound on Peter Stastny.
Weinrich may have coughed the puck up, but he made 2 pretty good.
I really did. That was certainly the Blues' best flurry here in the early going, but Weinrich doing a good job blocking 2 shots.
Danny at center ice here for the Blues against Roenick. Score first period, 5:02 into the opening frame, and the puck control by the Hawks now as they set up. Chelios right up the alley, and he'll find Tony Amati. To Joe Murphy now, and he steps back into the Blues end, stops at the left point, circle, shoot it to the net, and Joseph grabs that with a glove. Maybe the puck for Rick Zombo, the Blues defenseman. Murphy's all over him like a new pair of shoes. And now the Blues take it away. And it'll come free, and there's a turning shot by Amati, blocked, picked up by Roenick, and he fires that one wide. And stuck on the Blues at right. Chelios again back to play it. Here's Shanahan with the puck for the Blues. Shanahan, Miller, and Jamie working as a trio. Shoot it to the St. Louis goal, and Belfour says, give me that thing. He holds on.
the line with Joe Murphy on left wing, along with Tony Amante and Jeremy Roenick. A tremendous amount of speed, yet it's been an adjustment for Joe Murphy. He's been used to playing that right side, Mike, being a left-hand shot, being able to come to the middle and let go of the quick shot. But since the trade bringing Amante over, Murphy has had to switch to left wing, and it's been an adjustment for him. He hasn't felt all that comfortable as of late, and as Brent Sutter, or Daryl Sutter, I should say, was mentioning this morning, that line should be scoring much more than they are with all the talent that they have.
I think that's the case, really, Joe, of a lot of teams right now at this point after the trading deadline. So many trades and so many new faces. It does take about 3 weeks to a month before they can adjust and get used to one another.
Yeah, that's a good point. Daryl Sutter mentioning that he's going to stick with that line and give them an opportunity to stay together.
The Horacek coming back for the Hawks now to move it around the right side. The Blues keep it in, however, and they dump it to the right wing corner. Greg Smyth defensively. And he has it for St. Louis around the right side, and they simply clear to center ice. Steve Duchesne paired out here with Tiller. Blues from their own blue line. Duchesne to Tiller here on the near side. Brings it on to center. Oh, that couldn't take the pass as it's cut off by Kimble of Chicago, and he drills it back into the Blues zone. Duchesne behind the net took a big bump. Linsky put the check on him, and it'll be Kelly Chase now feeding on the backhand ahead of the Chicago line. Blues can't catch up to it, and we got a stop and play here. A two-line pass call is broken. Took the pass from Horacek. Now the tempers heat up a little bit as Kelly Chase gets involved with the Blues, and Greg Smyth slips in too. Picks her up also.
Well, that was a hit that some of the Chicago players thought it was a little late right after the whistle had gone. Kelly Chase came together with Horacek and knocked him down. Then Darin Kimble was actually on the other side of the ice. He saw the action and came all the way around before getting involved.
We are scoreless here in period number 1. The Blues and the Hawks, and this is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Well, the last altercation started right after the whistle. Kelly Chase came together with Dubinsky, not Horacek, as I mentioned earlier. And then after that hit, all the players joined together. Kelly Chase was looking at Greg Smyth on one side, Kimble on the other, and Dubinsky right in front of him.
David Mackey, Prokhorov, and Montgomery working out here for the St. Louis Blues. And here's Carney delivering the puck to the right side, though. When the play, it will go to Rutu, back to Carney, and this shot off the body of Joseph, the Blues goaltender, and up into the seat.
Now Carney was a player that was acquired from the Buffalo Sabres earlier in the season, and was recalled when Chicago had their problems on defense, like you were mentioning earlier. Smyth out for the season with a broken leg. He's going to be in a cast until June 1st, and then they lose Cam Russell, who had come on and played very well. And both those players very physical in their own zone. And with this new look Chicago team, the one thing the coaches were saying this morning is that they don't want to lose their effectiveness. They want to keep that same type of attitude that they have had in the past, being a physical team. But when you've got the type of players with this type of talent, you're obviously not going to be quite as physical as you were in the past.
Sometimes you have to sacrifice, and that's what Chicago's going to have to end up doing here. We get a stop and play on an icing call against the Blues. And see, you got to try and find a happy medium in this league right now, and it's not an easy tour. And general managers really look over the rosters day by day, trying to figure out how they can balance their team. And they want size, they want toughness, they want finesse, they want scoring, they want everything in every player. They want, as I would compare, they want a Willie Mays in every position.
It's tough to find, isn't it? Even though it looked like Pittsburgh had that a couple of years ago with all those back-to-back Stanley Cups, they had just about as close as you can get to that particular menu that you were mentioning.
Christian Rutu with the face-off of the Blues in, over to Suter, and the right side it goes to Chelios. He floats it in behind Joseph. Still no score here in the first period. The Blues center in front of them. Owsley had it. His pocket picked there for a moment, but it poked back to center. And Hall is going to deliver it back into the Blues zone. Belfour comes behind the net. Eddie Belfour, the Chicago goaltender, over to Eisenbart. Belfour having another good year, and it comes to Rutu. 2 steps into the Blues zone. Left it for Eisenbart. He kind of kicks it towards Joseph, and Joseph reaches with a left hand to pull it in and hold on. And we're going to flare up here with Chelios and all the Blues on the far side.
Mike, I believe that was Peter Nedved, the Blues player that we mentioned earlier, switched to left wing. He and Chelios got involved on the board just inside the Blues blue line, and that's something that we have seen over the years. We'll continue to see tonight. Chris Chelios in particular will pinch in, will put pressure in, take chances offensively, and Chelios is going to get the penalty, and the only penalty. And the Blues power play of the night. We're just 7 minutes, about 7.5 minutes into this first period, and Chris Chelios will go off for interference, and the Blues will go on the power play.
Chelios sitting down. Interference to call on Chelios, and it gives the Blues the man advantage.
And the Blues power play currently 9th in the National Hockey League, just over 20% efficiency. Meanwhile, the Chicago Blackhawks, we talked about their power play struggling all year. One thing that has not struggled on this Chicago Blackhawks team has been their penalty killing. Second overall in the league. They have been strong in that department all season long.
That really has been a trademark of the Chicago Blackhawks the last 4 or 5 years, particularly. They took a lot of penalties, but they were able to kill a lot off. And they continue that success. And Duchesne on the Blues with a big chance here to maybe take the lead in the first period. Hall to the left side to Stastny. Stastny working on the power play. Shanahan odds here also. You have the 2-point men, Housley and Duchesne. And they really move the puck extremely well. The Hawks do clear, however. And Joseph now spins it over to Housley. Back behind the net. And Joseph will set it up for Duchesne. Back to Housley. Quick pass to center to Hall. Here to the left wing, Stastny looking for Hall in front of the net. He has 53 goals on the year. Trying to climb up and get the leaderboard in that department. Hall is after it in the right side of the Chicago end, but the Hawks there and line up ahead. Behind the fence here, Murphy on a breakaway, short-handed in. He shoots it. Joe Murphy with a great chance, short-handed on a breakaway. Back in the Blues. Housley to center circle, and he'll jam it back into the Chicago zone. Around to the left point it goes to Duchesne. Duchesne gave it away to Weinrich. A minute 3 on the penalty. And tapped ahead to center now. It comes to Joe Murphy. Murphy still with a little fuel left here after going on that breakaway, but he falls down. The Blues hurry back, and Janney stepping back into the Chicago zone. To Hall on the left wing. Brett Hall to the left point to Duchesne. Right side to Housley. Housley looking back to Duchesne. Center point. He shoots it. Deflected by the left hand of Belfour. Now Chicago sets it up again, and they have it, and they clear. Well, it was controlled by Suter, and he found the open avenue to fire it into the St. Louis zone. 34 seconds to go. In the penalty to Chris Chelios. Interference to call to him. Still no score. 11 minutes left here in the first period. And Klossman steering the puck into the Chicago zone. Greg Smyth going back. He'll get it quickly. He should be able to clear here, and he does. Off the boards and away by Klossman. Blues have time for one quick rush here. Pennyworth putting some pressure on Joseph. The Blues beat it on the center. They can't make anything happen here. The Blues will not score in this power play. Tilly backpedaling in his own end. The St. Louis Blues and stopping back behind his own net. Moving to the left of the cage. Penalty has expired. The Blues and Hawks have both had a power play chance. Neither one's been able to connect. Pushed it up in the Chicago ice. Weinrich. Over to Dubinsky, and Steve Dubinsky will slip it behind Joseph. He'll backhand it around to the far wing. On the play to Janney. Janney sidestep a check there, and he carries the man. Kevin Miller drop it over to Tilly. He's got a chance, and he fires it right off Belfour's stick. Tilly from 45 feet out. And the Hawks go right back to the counterattack. Chance is going to shoot it. That went off Murray Barron, the Blues defenseman, and Barron makes a nice play, but he can't get it out. Kelly also around to the right point, shoots it around the horn, and the Blues over to capture it. Tilly shoots it ahead and after it, look for the puck. He thought he could touch it. Would have been too many men on the ice, and he turned around asking for somebody to help him. And now Koharski looks, are we going to get too many men on the ice or not?
I think he's going to make a call. Koharski was just to the side of the Blues bench, and Koramnov jumped on the ice and then tried to actually get off the ice on the play, and the Blues were caught with 6 men on the ice. Kelly Chase is going to serve the penalty for the Blues. Meanwhile, a great chance for the Chicago Blackhawks shorthanded. They have 13 shorthanded goals on the season. Murphy with his great speed taking the pass from Weinrich right up the middle. And Curtis Joseph, boy, he just outweights Murphy. Murphy's waiting for Joseph to do something. Joseph just stands there, keeps his concentration, and waits for Murphy. Murphy with the shot, and Joseph catches it right in the middle and is able to deflect the puck off to the side. A great shorthanded chance for the Chicago Blackhawks. Now Bob Berry has changed. Kelly Chase comes out of the penalty box. Koramnov, who was the player that had jumped on the ice and was actually the 6th player on the ice for the Blues, is going to serve the penalty.
You knew the Blues were in trouble when you saw Nedved. The puck came towards him, and he turned around and looked, and as if to say, do I touch the puck? Or he looked back to say, is somebody else on or not? And he just got caught with his hand in a cookie jar.
Yeah, Mike, and so many times the officials will let that go if the puck is away from the boards, but the puck just happened to be right in front of the Blues bench.
Now our play chance number 2 for the Chicago Blackhawks. Still scoreless here in the first period. Joe Murphy couldn't get to it, and the Blues come back shorthanded. And then Shanahan brings it on to the Chicago line, and he pulls the trigger on a heavy slap shot. Belfour denied that. And picked up now by Gary Suter. Suter works the point out here on the left side. Chelios on the right. They've got Murphy, Amati, and Roenick up front. Do the Hawks. And brought into the Blues end to the right point. Here is Chelios. A slap shot, and he missed the goal. Around to the left point. Suter. Throw it softly into the corner. It comes to Roenick. Back door over to Tony Amati of the Hawks. To the left point to Suter. He shoots the puck. Where is it? Stopped by Joseph. The rebound in front. Roenick couldn't get into Amati, but the whistle sounds. The net's dislodged, and also a Blues player is down. That's Kevin Miller, who is down in front of the St. Louis net.
There was a lot of traffic in front of the net. The Hawks taking the long shots from the point. They're trying to get their forwards in front. Rick Zombo, the Blues defenseman Kevin Miller, also came back into the zone, back in front of his net to try and help out. Miller had trouble controlling it. Roenick ends up making the pass, and then actually it was Miller who hooked Roenick's stick, and his stick came up and caught Kevin Miller in the mouth area. He went down, and now trainer Tom Nash out on the ice. Kevin Miller back on his skates now and making his way to the Blues bench. Seems to be okay.
Blues still with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go on their minor penalty for too many men on the ice. We're still scoreless, and Chicago is shooting St. Louis 11-7. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. The Blues trying to kill this penalty off. Chicago's working here on this power play, and Suter, the new addition, we can look for both he and Chelios. They both can fire the puck, and that's going to be a strong point for them.
And even though Suter has struggled until lately, he played his best game for the Chicago Blackhawks last game when they played the Calgary Flames, but prior to that had some trouble adjusting to this new division.
Chelios on the right side after the face-off win by the Hawks, and Chelios had that with Hall out with a stick to deflect it. Went up into the seats here at the arena.
And again, what Chicago is doing on their power plays, at least here in the first 2 power plays, they're defensive. Chris Chelios on one side, Gary Suter on the other side. They're trying to get the puck to the middle of the ice, and they're taking the long shots, trying to get their forwards to go to the front of the net. Now, this power play unit for Chicago, with Dirk Graham up front, Rutu on one side, those are more physical players, so they'll just go to the front of the net on this unit and let those defensemen take the shots. But the Blues doing a good job deflecting those shots.
And the Blues win the face-off and steer it up into Chicago territory. Here comes Chelios again, rambling up. 50 seconds to go on the Blues penalty. Chelios stymied a bit at his own line on a good check by Brett Hall. Hall's been anticipating, reading pretty well here in this penalty-killing effort. Chelios now rams it back into the Blues zone. It comes off the left side, around to the left point to Suter. Does he shoot it? He does, and it's wide of the net. Around to the right point, Chelios hauls it in. Put it down the boards, but Hall again right there. Just watching Brett Hall work in this penalty-killing unit. He is, as I said, anticipating extremely well. He's reading where the Hawks are going to go with the puck. And Chicago steps up. Final rush up here in this power play. Suter zigzag into the Blues and falls down. The Blues should be able to get it, and they will. Duchesne has a man open. Here's Miller. He has 2 men to beat. Graham cut him off of the pass. Miller falls down between a sandwich check there between Chelios and Graham. Chicago picks up the puck. Only 5 seconds remain on the St. Louis penalty. And here's Chelios again with the biscuit. Drive it down the boards into the Blue zone. Ready to come on. Randolph does, but an icing call here against Chicago. Here at the St. Louis Arena. The St. Louis Blues and Chicago Blackhawks are scoreless. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. NHL action on ABC this Sunday at noon. The Dallas Stars face off against the Blues. Watch NHL Sunday showdowns on ABC.
And again, a reminder, that game with the Blues and the Dallas Stars will be a noon starting time this coming Sunday.
Stastny on board now for the St. Louis Blues. Got Nedved and Hall out here working with him. Zombo and Darin, the 2 defensive players for the Blues, and their coach Bob Berry. Bobby holding up these days. Pretty good.
Bobby's doing well. This game with the changes, and he's had to make a lot of lineup changes over the course of the season, but he did such a remarkable job of getting this team together last year for their stretch to make the playoffs, and then doing well in the playoffs. He's got a much more talented team, though.
Monty of the Hawks brings it back and shoots it to the St. Louis zone, and Joseph's going to back it around the boards of the far wing. Peter Nedved had a handle on it, and he simply clears the area. Pete Carney, the Chicago defenseman, blasts that one back in, and it goes behind the cage. Both Zombo and Darin went back in, and Zombo elects to take possession of it. It's on to Brett Hall. He looks for Nedved, still scoreless here in the first. 7:13 left. Nedved lays it back to Murray Barron and tap it off the board. They by Hall. Belfour is going to play the puck, though. And it waves off any icing. The Blues go in for it from the near corner. Stosny trying to get command of it. Roenick beats him to it. And it comes on that far wing. Tony Amani is going to slip it up. Did not hit a Blues player, and it comes late to the ice. And we will get an icing call here against Chicago with 6:50 left. Well, there's a break in the action. To be a great time to break for the great taste of Bud Light. It's a big hit with fans everywhere, because it won't fill you up, never let you down. So make it a Bud Light.
Now Peter Stosny was all smiles this morning. His wife and 4 children arrived in St. Louis last night. His kids are still going to school out in New Jersey, so he hasn't had much of an opportunity to see his family since he joined the Blues, but they came in last night with the Easter break, and they'll be here through Sunday, and he had that big smile on his face.
The space off to the right of Belfour. Janney against Jeff Shantz. Finally dropped the puck, and Suter takes control of it. Gary Suter, the Chicago defenseman, steps by a check by Kevin Miller. Relay left wing to Dirk Graham, and Graham's going to bounce it in behind the St. Louis goal. Crossman goes back defensively. He had it taken away, and the Blues lose the puck. Around to the left point, it will come to Gary Suter. Suter shoots it back in behind the St. Louis goal. And Graham went in. He overskated the play. Janney back trying to clean up his own end. Over to Kevin Miller. And Janney working out here with Brendan Shanahan. Shanahan has the puck on the center to Janney, back to Shanahan, and he throws it to the right wing corner. And Carroll Belfour came out, he read that play, got to it, but here Shanahan. He got the puck up the right wing corner. Belfour reaches down to grab that puck. Don't do a whole lot of games. I'd like to folks know that St. Louis is watching this building here, and it's funny when you come in, haven't been in for a while. But you know, the home team knows its boards and the way it works with it. And you could just see they were working a play like that to try and use the boards, and it almost resulted in the goal.
Now it's Shanahan with the long shot. Now the puck was on edge. It was rolling, so it kind of flew on it somewhat, and then it came back around the boards, and another opportunity for Shanahan trying to deflect the long shot from the left point, and Belfour came up with a real fine save on the deflection.
Brett Hall say the boards. That means he's talking about the boards. Exactly what he was talking about. Nice face-off will be in the Chicago zone to the left of Belfour. Levinsky against Korolev, and the Chicago Blackhawks win the face-off again. Chelios on the far side, and feeded ahead to center ice. Horacek working one wing here for the Blackhawks, and Kimble on the other, but the Blues bring it back in, and a hard shot from the left side deflects off a stick and into the seats. Another face-off will take place. Well, we're getting a lot of face-off practice here in this first period.
Now both teams have done a good deflecting shots, and Chris Chelios with another one there. Meanwhile, Bill Housley back in the lineup for the Blues. Boy, he has had a remarkable recovery. He's been playing nearly 30 minutes a game, is not experiencing any trouble at all with that back that he had surgery on. In fact, is only on a maintenance program. Every other day, he's doing some light workouts for the lower back, and up to this point, it does not bother him at all. And he could be a real plus for the Blues as his timing gets better, as he gets in better physical shape or game shape as we head to the playoffs.
And the other side of it is, Joe, too, that he's had all this time off. He hasn't played a whole season also, and he's going to be a little fresher than most people going into the playoffs. Here comes Korolev now carrying the mail for the Blues, and he shoots into the net. Belfour stopped that. Or to the head. He tried to headman it to Davinsky, and he's pulled down. The penalty come up here against St. Louis. Back on the blood off for Chase and Greg Smyth. Back in the Chicago zone. They square off, and the line will step in before they get close. The original penalty was going to be issued here against St. Louis. And then Smyth and Chase squared off, and no punches thrown. We're in the first period. St. Louis will be short-handed. There is no score, and this is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Now the Blues will find themselves short-handed with 5:24 to go in this first period. No score. The initial penalty at the center ice area, Dubinsky was pulled down on the play. Took a nice dive also to help things out. And Igor Korolev goes off for hooking. Then after that particular incident, still inside the Chicago Blackhawks zone, it was Greg Smyth and Kelly Chase that actually threw down their gloves, squared off, and were ready to go at it. The linesman Pat Capuzzo jumped in between them before anything could get started.
They both pick up minors for unsportsmanlike conduct. They will sit down also. But Korolev, the important man right here, puts the Blues short-handed for the third time in the period. You would think if Chicago is going to have some success in this game, Joe, that they've got to start cashing out these power play games.
Yeah, well, and this is the type of period where we've had so many power plays by both teams that really need a team that's to get into a real 5-on-5 flow of the game, and that's where in the past we have seen these two teams really get into some physical play, some forechecking, but it's been really a period of power plays.
Monty and Murphy flank the wings now again for Jeremy Roenick. Chelios and Suter is still the point men. Murphy to the right side to Chelios, lost the puck to Murray Barron, but can't clear. Joe Murphy around the right side to Chelios, giving the puck to Tony Amani. Amani with just a goal since joining the Hawks, around to the left side to Suter. Back center point, it will come to Chelios. Step to the left side. Now moves it in the corner near side for Jeremy Roenick. The Hawks on a power play. Pass to the center point to Chelios. You read that right. They are trying to go to the center point area to try and work from that spot. That pass just avoided Chelios.
And what the Blues have done, Mike, recently, their penalty killing has improved because they decide to play a much more conservative style in their own zone. Instead of getting caught out of position, putting too much pressure on, they're playing more of that conservative box and being more patient. It's been working for them.
Suter again trying to keep the puck in. Roenick has lost his helmet. He's down to the puck near the corner now. Amani, a turning shot, and Joseph made a good save on Tony Amani from 25 feet away. Now in the blue zone, but Owsley picked his puck and took it away and fires it up ice. Belfour swings it ahead to center, trying to get the Blues in a change here. Down the right side, it will come to Suter. Suter moves in to St. Louis ice. He'll come down deep. Barron got to the pocket. Brett Hall has it one more time for the Blues, and he'll wrist it off the board. That's another advantage that Brett Hall has. He has so much strength in his wrist that he can take that puck from anywhere in his own end and wrist it quickly off the boards. There aren't a whole lot of guys in this league that can do that and do it effectively and move the puck out without somebody stopping him. Here comes the play to Reinrich at center, and he'll drive it into the St. Louis end. Joseph takes the puck. He'll backhand it away. The St. Louis goaltender to center. Miller's not up the line. He gets free, and he gets to the puck. Goes in on goal, but he's tripped down. Penalty coming up here against St. Louis, the Chicago Blackhawks. And Miller had a chance here, but he was tripped at the very last second. Great hustle by Kevin Miller to get to that puck and even make it happen.
And the play starts in the blue zone. Curtis Joseph with a great job clearing it right up the middle, and Miller just takes off down the ice. Now he's being hooked by the Chicago player on the play, but he just fights right through it. Keith Carney stays after him, finally pulls down Kevin Miller before he can get a shot off. And now the Blues will play 4-on-4 for a while. Again, Kevin Miller, just a tremendous effort with Keith Carney hanging all over him, staying with it, keeping the legs going. That's the key here. He doesn't glide. He keeps his legs moving. That forces Carney to pull him down. And so we'll play 4-on-4 for the next 18 seconds. Then Igor Korolev will come out of the box, and the Blues will be back on the power play.
And here's Chicago sitting here in the first period where they have had 12 shots, 3 power play chances, and they have nothing to show for it. And those are numbers you like to see a little better, but now it's going to turn around because the Blues, as Joe mentioned to you, are going to have an opportunity here in 18 seconds to work with a man advantage. Peter Nedved swings around, circles around to face off here against Christian Ruutu in the Chicago zone to the left of goaltender Eddie Belfour. Brett Hall up front with him. And they've got Duchesne and Tilley as the two defensemen. See who Ruutu is working with. He's working with Dirk Graham. Face-off push by Ruutu, and it rolls on edge to the St. Louis zone. Duchesne back to scoop it up. Taking the puck to Tilley with double team, but 2 Hawks are trapped. Here come the Blues, and they might have a big chance here. Coming up 5 seconds to go on the penalty, too. Duchesne left side to Hull. Comes in and wrists to the net. The stop made, the rebound. They can't put it on Eddie Belfour. And now Chicago with it, and the Blues go to the power play as the penalty is over. Korolev comes on. Janney steps on board. And it'll be Janney working with Nedved and Hall, and they've got Duchesne and Housley as the point men. Nedved brings it onto the Chicago zone. Slip it to the left wing boards. Still scoreless here in the first period, and Chelios finds that puck, and he'll blast it the other way. Curtis Joseph has to set it up for Bill Housley. 1:15 to go in the penalty to Keith Carney, the Chicago defenseman. Pass Passing to the right wing, Reggie Sutter working out here as a penalty killer now for the Blues. He is out with Randy Culleyworth. To the left point, Chicago in. Housley right side to Duchesne. He shot it and Sutter blocked that. Janney has it over to Shanahan. A quick shot from 20 feet and stopped by Belfour from the right wing circle, and he holds it long enough for a faceoff.
Now the thing that Janney does so well, he's got those great hands, and that's the one thing the Blues were missing when Janney was out of the lineup before reacquiring him. The initial shot is blocked, but then Janney with the quick hand, boy, just a quick pass to Shanahan right in the slot. Shanahan with the quick wrist shot at Belfour was right there to make the save, and then more importantly control the rebound and hold on for a whistle. But Janney with those great soft hands put it right on the stick of Shanahan with a quick shot, and Shanahan continues to play even in this game. The last couple of games he's been in the penalty box a lot, playing with a great deal of intensity, and in this game as well, away from the play, he's getting involved with the Chicago players, getting his stick up, a lot of pushing and shoving, and his intensity level has gone up 4 games.
And you know in the coming playoffs he will play exactly like that. He is one of the best playoff players I've seen over the years, Brendan Shanahan.
He's got that great size, and with all the skill, he can really dominate a game when he puts his mind to it.
Horacek and Shanahan. Shanahan won the face-off to Housley. He fakes a shot, skating over to the center point now. Dish it off on the left side to Duchesne with the Blues. Back to Housley. Shoots it off the post. Back on the loose shot. Belfour now scoops free and put in by Shanahan on the rebound. The Blues have scored. Brendan Shanahan got it by Eddie Belfour.
Well, Shanahan stayed with it. The key is that Shanahan wins the face-off, first of all, on their own end. The Blues are going to control it with Housley. Housley will end up taking a shot that hits the post. Now, who's in front? Brendan Shanahan. He screens Belfour. Belfour doesn't see it. The puck comes straight out. Now, Janney goes to the front of the net, and what a play by Janney, poking the puck off the stick of Gary Suter. It goes right back to the side of the net. Shanahan goes right to the puck, and before Belfour can get back in the net, there's Shanahan to just jam it in the empty side. Chelios also there to help out. But Shanahan started the play with the face-off, went to the front of the net to screen the play, and then Janney came in with the perfect poke check on Gary Suter, who was handling the puck. And again, there was Shanahan right on the puck. He puts it into the net and gives the Blues a 1-0 lead.
Over to 44 on the year for Shanahan, and a power play goal at 17:30, and St. Louis takes the lead here against the Hawks. And Shanahan connecting here. Suter with the puck now for Chicago. Off to Chelios. That's twice in this period the goal judge has had a quick trigger. He turned the light on down on an earlier play in the St. Louis end and also did it in Chicago territory on that play. And eventually when he did turn it on the second time, it was for real.
They wanted to even things up.
Yeah. Here's Culleyworth. Might have switched ends during the period. Here's Culleyworth coming around. Throwing the puck down to the St. Louis zone, and Zombo returning to get it. I think we will have an icing call against Chicago with 1:47 left here in this period. Housley and Duchesne, they given the assist to, but Janney was the guy that made it. Here are the upcoming home games on the slate. Thursday the 7th, Los Angeles is bound. Sunday the 10th, Dallas at noon. And Thursday the 14th, the Winnipeg Jets will be here. Fan appreciation.
You know, Mike, I don't know how it is in your division, but what I've seen happen in the last week and a half or two is that most of these teams in their divisions are playing divisional games. And if you talk about a way to get ready for the playoffs, it's to play your teams in your own division. We've seen some great intensity in Detroit Sunday afternoon. Here again tonight, these two teams get ready. I don't think there's a better way to prepare for the playoffs than playing teams within your division.
And I think it's pretty commonplace because everybody's been now restricted the last week and a half. The travel's going to be cut down, and you're going to be playing your division teams. Where somebody real close that is involved, and that's the way it'll be. And then you'll get to the playoffs, and you'll hear a whole different tune. Well, we've played 84, but now we're going to start a whole new season. Out the center, here's Sutter clearing the puck into the left wing corner of the Blues zone. Duchesne with 1:20 to go. Bring it around to the far side. Rutu cuts it off for the Chicago Blackhawks. He spins it around the horn. And Kevin Miller of the Blues took a big bump there from Sutter, and the Blues still have possession. Eisenbar tried to wrist it to the net. Couldn't get it through. And it's Steele. Here comes Shanahan. Just scored. Shanahan to the Chicago and good pass to Miller. Here he comes. And it's picked up by Belfour. Rebound. Janney. That's a penalty coming up here against the Blackhawks again. And they'll be short-handed here with exactly 1 minute to go on period number 1.
Now another great chance for the Blues, and it all started right at their own blue line. Janney ends up with a perfect play. He just drops the puck. Ivan dropped it. The defenseman went with Janney, and he just left it to Shanahan, who then gives Kevin Miller, who came in late. He used his speed to just take off and get into the play. Shanahan fed him perfectly. He's pulled down after getting the shot, and then Janney with an opportunity as well just shoots it wide. But Miller, again, using his speed and his legs to just drive to the net, gets one shot, and then Janney ended up with the other one and just fired it wide on the short side.
Roughing's the call against Rutsu. A strange call there when you got the play coming back as fast as it was. They could call it a roughing minor, but that is what is issued by Koharski, the referee. And nonetheless, Chicago shorthanded. The Blues, who capitalized to take the one-goal lead on the power play, set it up again. Duchesne trying to wrist it to the net, and Chelios blocked that. Puck out of action on the announced assist, Joe, on the goal. Gave the assist to Housley and Duchesne, but it looked to me, and you too, that Janney was the guy that directed it back.
I think they'll change it. It was Janney who really made the play because Suter had good control of the puck. Meanwhile, the Blues have made a change on their power play unit. Most of the season, they have been last in the league on the road on the power play. So what they decided to do was try Peter Stastny in there at center with Shanahan up front along with Brett Hull. That's now their first power play unit.
Roney gets the assignment here in the face-off in the Chicago end against Stastny. Stastny winning the draw, back to the left point to Hull. He'll go right side to Housley. The pass just beyond his reach. He'll go over and get it now. Slip it into the near corner. Shanahan reaches in. He can't get it. Chelios took it away. Hawks belted around the boards, but not out of his own. Duchesne helped keep it alive. Back behind him, it's to Shanahan. All cruising towards the net. He can't go to him. On the left point, Duchesne pinched in, but he couldn't get to the puck, and the Hawks steer it onto the St. Louis line. Housley with it. Looking for Duchesne with 28 seconds to go in the period. Hawks will be shorthanded the rest of the way. We'll go by that clock. Put it between the circles, and Suter had it, but he couldn't get it out. Now Brett Hull off the left side. All looking, going to the right side of Housley. He moves in. Housley, left side. Duchesne's there. His shot. And Belfour the save and cleared by Roney. There was a play there where Suter did not get the puck out. It almost resulted in a St. Louis goal. 7 seconds left in the period. Duchesne to Housley. Time's going to run out, barring a miracle shot here, with the Blues leading 1-0. And that is the end of the first period. And the only goal of the opening 20 minutes went to Brandon Shanahan. And the Blues lead 1-0. Coming up in the intermission, Bruce Affleck will visit with Steve Duchesne, the Blues defenseman. And this is St. Louis Blues hockey. Now the St. Louis Blues have a 1-0 lead over the Chicago Blackhawks. They only go a power play goal by Brendan Shanahan, his 44th of the year. And we're awaiting the arrival of Steve Duchesne to join us momentarily. 28-year-old defenseman in his 7th year of the National Hockey League. Bruce is standing by, and let's join him right now.
Well, thank you, Mike. And one out of prep here. You catching your breath trying to get here to the interview, or is it that type of period?
That's the type of period. It's hot in the building, and this rivalry, it's great. I love it, and already 3 games against Chicago this year, and I feel pumped. I love it.
One Friday. How would you compare it with another rivalry you had somewhere, maybe with LA or Quebec?
Well, I think Quebec and Montreal was a big rivalry, like you probably know, and I think it's more intense here. These two teams, Chicago, are very physical, and we try to be too. We get a style of play that we can be fancy too. We can make a lot of good plays and try to keep up with those guys, and it's been doing good now.
One thing the fans ask a lot of is how can you go into a game like tonight, beat each other's brains out type of thing, and then go out maybe and have a beer with each other?
Well, first of all,
soda.
We don't drink beer. Sodas, you're right. It's just part of the game, I guess. We don't really see them. Only in the summer we play together, and then when you get your game face on, you got to go out there and you got to play for your team, and you want to win bad. And sometimes you give a little cross check or a little bump here and there, but it's part of the game.
How about yourself? You feel comfortable in Blues uniform now?
Oh, I love it. Don't I look good with it? It's great. I've been adjusting to the new system, I love it. I just hope that I can contribute to this team as much as I can. Hopefully, go far in the playoffs.
We talked about the power play an awful lot, and of course with you and Housley in the back lineup now. You get a goal tonight after Chicago had missed a couple opportunities in the power play. How big is that goal tonight?
Oh, it's a big goal. We missed a lot of opportunities out there. Cujo made big saves. It was a breakaway. We're trying to get used to each other out there. We've got a lot of talent, and if the fans are patient and the organization is patient, I think in the playoffs it's going to be very devastating on the power play. We got so much talent. Let's be patient and we'll see what's going on.
Is it that much more important in the playoffs, the special teams?
Well, it's very physical in the playoffs. You get a lot of power plays, a lot of penalty killings. So hopefully our penalty killings will play well, and I'm not even worried about our power plays. I know we're going to score a lot of goals, very important goals, and Cujo plays well. Hey, we'll surprise a lot of people.
Do you have a preference to play power play or penalty killing?
Well, play both of them, I guess. Power plays, you get your points, and you get more recognized. On the penalty killing, you get Zombo and Darin that doesn't, they're unsung heroes, and they play so well, but they never get very much recognition. So the penalty killing, when you play well, it's great.
Steve, good luck the rest of this game. Good luck down the stretch in the playoffs.
Thank you very much.
Keep it going.
Thank you.
That's Steve Duchesne. Now let's go back upstairs to Mike.
All right, Bruce, and after one period of play, our score here at the St. Louis Arena is St. Louis 1 and Chicago 0. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
First of what's basically a back-to-back series. The Blues and the Blackhawks. The Blues take the early lead after one period of play on a Brendan Shanahan power play goal as the Blues lead 1-0. Welcome back to the St. Louis Arena. They're getting 5 straight seasons with 50-plus goals. Brett's dad, Hall of Famer Bobby Hall, had 5 50-plus goal seasons with the Blackhawks between 1962 and 1972. By Southwest Airlines. It's just plain smart. It's that time of month again. We get the chance to look back the month of March and kind of look at the highlight reel, the best of what happened to the St. Louis Blues during the month of March.
Off to the far side to Derek King. Left point, Tom Curran. His shot was saved. And the rebound of Montgomery. He's got a breakaway. All over the blue line. On the forehand. Deep shot. A short-handed breakaway goal for Brett Hall. The 400th goal of his NHL career. Then in the corner, there's the block. Behind the net, two. Out in front. He shot. He scored. Duchesne. Here's Duchesne at the far point. Behind the net. Towards Shanahan. Not a net set. Back to the point. Duchesne. He shoots. He scores. Then another assist. Duchesne blasts another one home. Here's Brown. Beat it up and shot. Save. Rebound. A base hit. Clear Brown. Over to Duchesne. Steve Duchesne! Down Bruce to the net. Two-down Bruce from Bellows. Tip wide. Up the far wing to Romnoff. Into the Montreal end to Romnoff to the corner behind the net. Up to the near side. To Romnoff down to the slot. To Romnoff shoots it. Great save by Wong! He clears it up to Shanahan. Now to Bozon. On to Nedved over the line. Nedved a shot right on the same. Rebound. Scores! On the board, 2-2 battle to home. Shanahan to Duchesne, right point, Brown, a shot, great save. Shanahan centers, Ball scores! Up the middle to Miller, he does a nice job to get the pass, hits the linesman. It comes to Shanahan, a shot, Belfour way out. Shanahan from the corner, shot to save. Shot, Belfour stops that. Brown a drive, he scores! Goal, baby! Jeff Brown! And the Blues tie it 33 seconds remaining. They win the draw. Hall shoots. Save. Duchesne shoots. He scores. Oh, baby. Steve Duchesne. And the Blues have tied it at 3. Yes. Belfour clears it up the boards to Chelios. Now if you're wondering, you've got not only a small ice surface, but a slow one. It's set up. Nedved spun down, the puck to Muni, here is net. He works to the far side, can't clear Duchesne, wrist shot, knocked down in front by Smelling. Stastny to Nedved, stop, rebound, he scores! Peter Nedved!
Well, the problem, because it's the Blues have to play there.
Duchesne! He over on that side, Wall holds it in center, shot, saved, leading over, rebound to Hull for Trick, and he scores!
And that's a look at the month of March, and hopefully we'll have a chance to show you the best of April as we play into May in the playoffs. So all our score after one period of play is 1-0. Let's go upstairs to Mike and Joe for first period highlights.
All right, Bruce, thank you very much. And a pretty good period of hockey. The Blues ended up capitalizing on the power play, and they worked it down low and eventually got it by goaltender Eddie Belfour.
Yeah, it was a period really that was dominated by power play for both teams. Chicago struggled on their power play, and of course the Blues took the lead on their power play. And really what it was the Blues moving it around, and then eventually, Shanahan was there, and what a period Shanahan had.
Yeah, no question about it, and they ended up putting that in. The breakaway goal they had earlier in the period that Curtis Joseph stopped on Murphy was a big play, too.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity for the Hawks, shorthanded. The perfect pass from Weinrich, and Murphy just comes in and tries to outweigh Joseph, and Joseph makes a tremendous save shorthanded against Murphy. And then the Blues goal, again, on the power play. The key, Shanahan wins the faceoff, and the Blues will move it around. Now, you can watch Housley in the middle. He'll take the initial shot, but watch in front. Is Shanahan in front. Now, the long shot goes through Shanahan, past Belfour, off the post. Now, the puck will come right back through the legs. Shanahan will stay there, but Janney, an outstanding job as Gary Suter tries to handle Shanahan right there to bang it in the open side, and that gave the Blues a 1-0 lead.
Shanahan, such a force in front of the net. He's a big power forward. There's no question about it. It makes it tough for the netminder.
Yeah, and he went right to the front of the net doing the right thing, and Janney was right there to jump on the loose puck. Suter had control of it, and Shanahan was there to finish things off.
All right, let's look at the summary. In the first period, Shanahan had the only goal. The assist to Housley and Janney at 17:30, and the Blues ended up shooting Chicago 16-12 at one point. Chicago had the advantage over the Blues. The period summary is brought to you by your Midwest GMC truck dealers, Bellman, Bomarito, and Blackman GMC. 1-0 St. Louis here at the arena, and this is St. Louis Blues hockey.
The Blues will start this second period on the power play. Still 1 minute to go, and the minor penalty to Christian Ruutu. And what a period for Brendan Shanahan. Scored the only Blues goal, had 6 shots on goal, and continued to be his physical presence that we have seen as of late. He has been all over the puck, playing physical, playing with a mean streak tonight, and he dominated the first period for the Blues.
Out of town, Florida leads Quebec 3-1 in the first period at Quebec. The Panthers trying to get a playoff spot for the first time in their history. The Capitals lead the Islanders 1-0 period number 2. And Toronto has jumped on top of Dallas 1-0 at Dallas. That's an important game for Blues fans to keep an eye on, Joe.
Yeah, it really is. And Toronto has not been playing well as of late. They have struggled. They lost in Anaheim 3-1 a couple of days ago and simply did not play very well. And Dallas, of course, still trying. They're tied with Toronto right now, still trying to catch Detroit. They're just 4 points behind the Red Wings for the division lead.
Joe Micheletti, Mike Lang, who working here for Kenny Wilson, who's on assignment tonight. So we hope you're enjoying tonight's simulcast here from the St. Louis Arena. And Housley brings it up here, working on the power play to begin number 2. Blues moving right to left, and they move into the Chicago end, to the right side to Shanahan. He'll stuff it back behind the Blues goal. Chelios is right there, 2-time Norris Trophy winner, and over to Graham, and he'll belt it up into the Blues zone. Joseph hurries it ahead to Housley, and here come the Blues to the Chicago line. Cunneyworth denies him a spot to come in, and Duchesne and Housley now set up.
And Bob Berry has made an early change now. He has Shanahan up with, or I should say Janney with Hall and Shanahan on the first power play.
Janney to Hall. Now this shot right on. Belfour will make that stop from 25 on Brett Hall. Directed back into the near corner. Janney swinging around to Hall. The Janney again behind the net. Chelios bumped him. He let the puck go. It comes around near side to Shanahan over to Hall. Push it towards the net. It was blocked by Suter. And Janney goes to Hall again between the circles. Can't tee it up. And the Hawks have it, and they kill the penalty. It's over. Ruutu comes on. Joseph will leave the puck for Phil Housley. And the wrist to the head. Nedved trying to get command of it. He and Stastny working out here. Stastny to the Chicago zone. Tied up on the far boards. He can't find the puck, and the Blues lose it to Ruutu. 4-man rush to the Blues in. Right side, Tony Amani in front. Got a man there. Carney shoots and scores. Carney gets the goal for the Hawks, and it's tied at 1 on a 4-man rush into the Blues end.
Well, it was a turnover in the neutral zone, and Chicago countered very quickly. Stastny was there. The puck was just inside the line, and Chicago came back with 4 players. Now, Carney, the defenseman, will move up, and this is a 4-on-2, and the perfect pass from Tony Amade to Carney breaking down the left side. And Kearney, without stopping the puck, just redirects it high into the net past Joseph. A beautiful passing play by the Blackhawks, countering at their own blue line to tie the game at 1 apiece.
The goal at 1:25. Kearney is third of the year. Ruto and Amani will assist. And the Hawks come back on a misplayed puck at the Chicago line by St. Louis, and they cash in, and they now have tied the game. Joseph has to settle it behind his own net. And the Blues, Zombo looks for Nedved, but he gave it away to Roenick. Roenick of Chicago moving to the right wing corner of the Blues in. Swing it back right point. Weinrich left side. They get it over to Kearney. Whip it around the net. Roenick's right there. He doesn't shoot it. Goes to Amani. Fires it, and it's off the arm of Curtis Joseph. And the Blues haul it in. Nedved, Stastny, and Miller, they were out on the last goal, and they stay out, and the Blues almost gave up a second goal as the Hawks had a good chance again. Kevin Miller couldn't find the puck to shoot it into the Chicago zone. Nedved now looks for it, finds Miller, and he'll backhand it away to the Hawks end. Belfour will set the play up for Kearney, and a 1-1 tie here early in period number 2. Kearney's pass to the left wing. Out come the Blues. Cunnywood finds Graham, and he'll wrist it up to the St. Louis zone. Chance off the right wing corner. The Cunnywood behind the net. They set it up. Graham can't get in to get to the puck. Chance will, and he shot it on a wrist shot block. Cunnywood's got it. A slap shot blocked by Tilly, and it hops all the way back to center. Chicago's had the upper edge here early in period number 2. Played almost 3 minutes, and Duchesne back to capture it. Around the right side to his defense partner Tilly, and here come the Blues trying to get it going. Rokarov comes into the Chicago end. He'll shoot it to the near corner. Up in it on the play was Montgomery. And the Blues now, David Mackey around to the far wing. In Chicago ice to Tilly. Back they go, and Rokarov can't get to it. It comes to Tilly right point, and he'll shoot it. That one sails wide of the cage. Dirk Graham tried to deflect it out. He couldn't do it. St. Louis with good pressure now. They set it up for Housley in the slot on a wrist shot. That was blocked by Chicago. Mackey comes in. Ropa putting pressure on him, but Mackey avoids that check, comes off the right wing board, turns to shoot it towards the net. Never got to the cage. Mackey again push it back in behind the goal. This is a good shift. Bob Berry's got to be pleased because the this line out, and they took the play away a little bit against Chicago. Mackey again, left wing corner, trying to put it in the net, and he does. And Belfour, realizing his people on the ice are very tired, and he grabs that puck and holds on. Mackey gets involved now with Graham. A little pushing and shoving go on after the whistle. All right, here at the arena in St. Louis, Chicago has tied the game. We're all knotted up at 1 apiece. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. The Stanley Cup playoffs are closer than you think. We all know that right now. And tickets for the first round games with the Blues opponents still to be determined are now on sale. Stop by any of the Blues tickets. Your seat to the 94 playoff action. This face off in the Chicago end. Outside the line, and Kelly Chase going to ram it into the call here against the St. Louis Blues. Chase working right wing here. Korolev at center ice, and on the left wing here in this unit.
And Bob Berry was finally able to get the Montgomery line with Mackey on one side and Prokhorov on the other side. We talked about that first period filled with penalties, both teams getting numerous power play opportunities, and that meant that the Blues' third line, Prokhorov, Montgomery, and Mackey, did not see much action, but here in the early going, after Chicago had a good start to this period, that line came out and gave the Blues a lift.
Chelios after the draw now, it comes to center red, and he'll snap it to the Blues end. Kimble trying to find possession of it, does, swing it around to the near corner. Ramov can't clear the area, and the Hawks now keep putting pressure on. Dubinsky fighting for it. He goes behind the net. Horacek can't get to it. He has to chase it down to the far corner. Back to Dubinsky, who turns to center. Housley had to come off his blade. Korolev picks up the mail, and he'll come to center ice for the Blues. He'll shoot the puck in. Belfour with a cautious eye, comes out, steps out, backhands it away around to the near corner. Chase took a bump from Horacek, and the Blues now reach in trying to get command of it. They can't do it. Kelly Chase gets to the puck, though, and he turns to shoot it, hit a leg, comes off. Korolev trying to get back towards the net, and it comes off him outside the line and carried back in by the Blues, and we get an offside call.
Yeah, Ricky Zombo, the Blues hard-working defenseman, he's put together another solid season for this Blues team. You look at his statistics, and they certainly wouldn't indicate that, but a player that has been very consistent all season long, kills penalties, and on the regular shift as well, gives you everything he's got every night. And he was talking about the game in Detroit on Sunday afternoon this morning and mentioning like old-time hockey. I mean, they really let both teams play probably a little bit too much. We saw a lot of high sticking and cross-checking and that type of thing, and it's been a while since this team has seen that type of a game.
Weinrich's trying to avoid people, and he does come on to center ice to the right side of Jeremy Roenick. Roenick took a big bump there from Murray Barron, who put the body into him. Bounces off that check, still trying to battle for it, but Nedved gets it for the Blues, and he'll swing it onto center ice. Wearing a protective mask, a broken jaw, it comes to Roenick. Into the Blues end, slip it towards a goal. A 1-1 tie here in the first period. Roenick took a big bump to Barron again. Amani, though, swings free, goes in the slot, forgot one thing, though, the puck. Barron sweeps it away to the far corner. Amani sets it up for Roenick, and it's deflected by Nedved. Weinrich, though, steers it back into the corner. And the Blues have it. They feed it right wing to Brett Hall. Out to Nedved, flying through, coming to the Chicago, and a drop pass for Stastny. And it's beyond his reach. Nedved going for it again. To Stastny, and he turns to center it. It's intercepted by the Chicago Blackhawks. Amani, Murphy, working out here. Chance also. Brett Hall with it, shoots it, deflected by Nedved and just offline. One of the Blues, Stastny, got knocked down in front of the goal. Got some tired bodies out here right now for the Hawks. Here's Duchesne taking the puck, and he'll blast it back in. Nedved around the far boards. It comes in front. Carney trying to slip it ahead, and it comes off the left wing to Murphy, and he rolls it over now to the St. Louis line. Tilly with the puck. Swing it back into the Hawks zone. Weinrich can't get a handle on it. Chance now right through his own net, and goaltender Belfour, and it comes to Carney, and he's going to shoot it all the way up into the St. Louis territory. And after it'll be Duchesne, and he'll touch it. And Chicago just wanted to make a change there. 13:51 to go in period number 2. Chicago and St. Louis tied at 1. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
As we normally see in Blues Blackhawks game, there's generally some good. Murray Barron gets together with Jeremy Roenick in the Blues end.
Well, 170 pounds. Roenick takes a hit as well as anybody, I think, in the league, and he bounces off of it. He is not deterred by that factor, and he is a gutsy little player. In fact, he probably throws out more checks than he takes.
I was going to say, he gives them pretty well,
yes,
too.
Yes, he does. And lifted back into the St. Louis end, and right behind the cage, it'll be Steve Duchesne working the puck over to Tilly with 13:35 to go in period number 2. The Blues and Hawks are tied at 1. Janney looks for an open space, and he gets to center red and shoots it in. Belfour is going to stumble a bit out of the net, but he has the puck with that blade. Sweep it around the far boards to the right point. Tilly, though, with a slight shot. It never got to the net. It was blocked in front, still loose, though. And the Hawks come away with it on a 4-man, 5-man break down the center. 2-3 Blues are trapped back, and here comes Chance. Off to Tilly, he'll shoot it towards the net. Deflected. Rousey has a man wide open. Shanahan will come down the right wing. Moving in. Tilly's after him. Shanahan takes a shot. Now let's take it. Brandon Shanahan with the second goal. Belfour, and he beat him like a rented mule on that play, and it's 2-1 St. Louis.
What a play by Shanahan. Shanahan was wide open in the center ice area, is that he was knocked down in front of the Hawks net. He was late coming back, and the Hawks were actually able to break up with 5 players. Chelios will end up trying to move it in, and what a play by Housley, knocking the puck down, and then quickly moving it to Shanahan. Now Shanahan coming down the wing will fake the shot. He'll get Belfour to freeze, and then step to the outside where he's got the open side. Boy, that's a fantastic goal by Brendan Shanahan. Reminds me of the playoffs last year when the Blues had so much success going out to the side of the net with Eddie Belfour, and that time he came out Shanahan with the great fake, gets him to freeze, and then just takes one step to the side and puts it in the empty net.
The Blues regain the lead. It's now 2-1 St. Louis. David Mackey's going to swing it back into the Chicago zone up the right wing corner. Blues unable to keep it in. It's broken now. Fires it ahead by Rich Sutter and onto center circle. Housley takes possession of it to Crossman. Shanahan with a pair of goals, his 45th of the year. Housley will assist on it, and the goal is 6:57 of period number 2. And we're going to stop and play. A penalty coming up here. It's going to be against the Blues.
Yeah, Vitaly Prokhorov will get the call. A good defensive play by Chicago, just stopping the puck in the neutral zone, and Prokhorov, just trying to defend against his player, just ends up taking him down. That's Paul Eisebard who goes down, and Chicago going to power play. Meanwhile, this shot again by Shanahan. What a play. I mean, everyone in the building thought he was going to shoot, including me, and he just stopped his stick right at the last minute and was able to take one step to his right, and that allowed him to just slip the puck into the lane as Belfour had gone down, and Shanahan continues to play terrific hockey here tonight.
if you're Belfour, you're thinking, okay, I know how hard this guy can shoot the puck, and you're going to try and cover the angle on him, and you think, okay, this is a move I'll make, and Shanahan showed us a little finesse there, not only with the big size that he has, but he just stopped in stride and then whipped it by. The tripping call. I think that is the call, and it's interference against the Blues, and the power play on now for the Chicago Blackhawks. They set it up. Roenick over to Suter, and he'll put it in the slot to Murphy. He sets it up and tries to drill it. It was blocked by the Blues, but not out. Chelios left side. Here's Suter taking the puck, and he fires it right on, and Joseph will make that stick save. Roenick bumping into Shanahan. They collide. Right back in behind the St. Louis cage, and centered out with the Blues. Kevin Miller has it. He'll wrist it the length of the ice, and Belfour has to step 20 feet out of the net. Tap it ahead to Tony Amani. Amani going to Chelios with a full head of steam, breaking down the left wing into the Blues zone. Chelios of Chicago left it for Murphy, and a whack Barron with a stick, got away with one there. Back it comes to Housley, though, and Housley short-handed, a headman pass. Here's Hall behind the pass, coming in and goal, and Belfour turns, looks, shoots, and Belfour traps it, and he went down. Hall had him out, but he made the stop in the last second. Big save by Eddie Belfour, and Brett Hall, the breakaway attempt. Here come the Hawks again, down the right wing. Suter's going to take it into the St. Louis end. Off the near side to Amani, back to Suter, 25 feet from the net. Around to Eisenbart, he can't jam it in. Set up in front for Roenick when he has trouble getting to it until he clears for the Blues.
And a great defensive play by Tom Tilley, sliding to block the first pass in front of goaltender Curtis Joseph, and then getting back on his feet, going to the other side of the net, and intercepting the pass before clearing it.
10:50 left in the second period. 2-1 St. Louis. Here come the Hawks again. 28 seconds to go. Eisenbart's up in it and knocked off his skate, but Ruutu takes possession. Ruutu and the Hawks back behind the St. Louis net. Wheel and deal. Where's he going to go with it? Comes out to the near side. Tilley knocked it away off his stick, but not out. Ruutu gets it back. Number 22 to the right point. He'll go to Carney. Carney has the only Chicago tally. Put it behind the net. Ruutu had it chopped away by Duchesne. Now Carney in on the play. Goes deep. Behind the net to Ruutu. Out to Eisenbart. A wrist shot, and Joseph made a good save on him. Carney on the rebound has it for Chicago. Being pressured by Shanahan and Miller. The penalty is over. The Blues are at full strength, and here's Duchesne slipping the puck around behind his own net, but the Hawks steal, and Dirk Graham at full strength right now, both clubs. Graham off to Ruutu. Ruutu has the puck, right wing circle, trying to pull it around Tilley. Turns with a backhand move. Look for Eisenbart, went by him, and now Graham, and flip for Ruutu, and it went by his stick. He's tired. Ruutu still battling for it, centers it, and Shanahan's going to get it. He tries to drive it out on the backhand, and he will. Everybody wants to get off.
Well, Tom Tilley was really stuck out there on the ice. That's the reason Chicago was able to control it even after the Blues were back to even strength. Tilley was just exhausted and was just waiting for his opportunity to get off the ice.
Has to go back for it again on the St. Louis end, and Murray Barron, the Blues defenseman, looking for Nedved. A collision between Honeyworth and Barron. They're both down to the Blues zone. Lifted by St. Louis all the way to the Chicago right wing corner, and the Karen behind the net. Grabbed by Greg Smyth, and icing the call here against the St. Louis Blues. We're down to 9:23, so Shanahan has been the man of the hour for the Blues tonight with a couple of goals. And we mentioned, Joe did, that he had 6 shots in the first period.
And the Blues did a good job defensively during this short-handed situation. First of all, Paul Eisenbart trying to split the two defense. Tilley was there along with Steve Duchesne, and it was that defensive tandem that got stuck out there for a long time. Meanwhile, Brett Hull, a short-handed chance. Well, he fakes the shot. Belfour will go down, but Belfour's arms, he keeps him up in the air, and Brett Hull tries to get the puck up and over the arms, but Belfour, just reaching up with the arms, was able to stop the short-handed breakaway attempt by Brett Hull.
Over from the left point, a shot deflected on the way in by Dubinsky, and that was offline. And the Blues, Nedved trying to get it out of danger. A penalty coming up here. Nedved knocked down Blake Smith. And Peter Nedved is headed to the penalty box. We'll be back. The Blues have the lead over the Blackhawks, but Chicago goes on the power play again. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
The Chicago Blackhawks will go back on the power play. Peter Nedved goes off. The play was in the blue zone, and Nedved, just with the stick, pulls down one of the Hawks player, Greg Smyth, and Nedved goes off, and the Hawks go back on the power play.
Chicago on their power play. This is chance number 5 unofficially that I have for them, and they have 62 power play goals on the year. They really rely on Jeremy Roenick. He has 23 62 power play goals.
Yeah, and his 23 power play goals, an all-time Chicago Blackhawks record for power play goals in the season.
Here is Amani from the face-off, and he shoots it right to the net. Stopped by goaltender Curtis Joseph. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
In the heat of the night, weeknights at 11 on St. Louis 11.
We talked about the changes this Chicago Blackhawks team have made. They have added some skilled players. One of them, Tony Amante, who took the last shot for Chicago. He's from the state of Massachusetts.
Boston University, and here's Joe Murphy off the ice. I think they got to get him going on the power play. Joe Murphy, he was a big part of their attack last year, and he really has only 7 this whole season long. Here's Kevin Miller with a puck though for the Blues, and he shoots it ahead to kill some valuable time to take the heat out of a hot kitchen right now. Chicago trying to tie the game is 2-1 St. Louis. Hawks again start back into St. Louis ice. Roney couldn't get to the puck. He does now in the near corner as he was set up. They go to the right point area. Stolen by Housley, and beat it ahead back towards the Chicago net.
And now Bob Berry's made another change. He has Phil Housley playing the forward position, killing this penalty. And Housley has had some experience at that position. He did that same type of thing while playing in Buffalo.
Murphy on the left side gets the puck over to Jeremy Roenick. Still in St. Louis ice now as they set up. Roenick off the left wing boards. Graham's down deep. He doesn't go that way. Went cross rink over to Chelios. He was double teamed, but they find Murphy. Now to Roenick, and a quick shot blocked on the way to the goal. Zombo did a good job of getting in front of Jeremy Roenick. Duchesne from behind the cage shoots the puck off the boards, and away it goes. And a bouncing puck comes all the way to the Chicago end with only 40 seconds left on the Nedved penalty. Suter slowly rounds behind his own goal, comes up for the Blackhawks, steps to center circle. 5-man break to the Blues line, and he shoots it down the right side. After it will be Eisenbarn of Chicago to the right point to Route 2. He'll tap the puck over to Weinrich to the left point. Getting it over to Dirk Graham, but he lost it. And the Blues, Shanahan rifles that one. It was actually a shot. It went over the head of Belfour from 110 feet away. Talk about strength. And just blasted that one all the way over the head of Belfour off the glass. Hawks up in the final rush. 7 seconds to go on the penalty. Down the right wing to Eisenbarn. Cuts inside and a wrist shot. Blocked again by Barron. Loose around the net. Joseph scrambles. He knocked the puck away. And the Blues beat it around the right point. Penalty is over. The Blues are at equal strength. The Hawks still have the puck in the St. Louis end. Right side, Graham. Graham put it in behind with that. Route 2 challenge on the play. Goes back to Graham. Graham to the right point. And Weinrich comes over to take it for Chicago. Eric Weinrich down the near wing. And it's stolen by Tilly. And he's going to wrap it down the near side into Chicago ice. Blues will be called for icing. They'll take that call. They killed the penalty, and they now will get the face-off in their own end. And they're back to normal, if you will, there after killing penalty number 5 on the night.
Like you talked about some of the Chicago players being arrested. One of those players, Eric Weinrich, who was wearing a face shield, he broke his jaw against the Winnipeg Jets about 6 weeks ago. And he just returned to the lineup, his second game back, actually, after missing 17 games. And the amazing thing was he had his jaw wired. And that means you can't open your mouth to eat. And generally, when players go through that type of thing, they lose 10, 15 pounds easily. Weinrich only lost 4 pounds during his absence, and now he comes back still with plenty of energy.
That tells me he doesn't have a whole lot of body fat there.
Yeah.
Pretty low count.
Yeah, exactly.
Pennyworth on the left wing side of the St. Louis end, and Brett Hall gets to the puck. He'll slap it around the horn. Nedved looks for it. He cut back into the corner and turns now and slips it over to Peter Stastny. As lineman here, Nedved took a big check from Richie Sutter. Moved on to center, and the Blues get it to Hall on the right wing, and he'll throw it into the Chicago end. Nedved goes to the corner, trying to center it back for Stastny. That's not going to connect, and Chicago's content just to tap it on the center. And the Blues just dish it in behind the net. Weinrich now in the Chicago zone. He and McCarney up on the right wing. It will be delivered over to Dubinsky. He'll find Pennyworth from the right wing circle, denied by Joseph, and here are the Blues on the counterattack. He just slips it ahead. Belfour is going to come out of the net. Play it off the window and up to center ice where Duchesne has to go back and capture it. 5:45 left in the second period. St. Louis 2 and Chicago 1. Half chance. Rookie breaking into the Blues in on the right side of Eisenbarn. This shot. That one is meant to be tackled from 35 on Paul Eisenbarn. times tonight, Chicago has come up in 4 or 5 man rushes into the Blues in. And Blues almost look like they're just stuck. And here's Danny with it, but other times the Blues have had a big advantage. Duchesne right side, but Danny with a shot up in the Kimble. It's knocked aside by Smyth and on to center ice. It will count. Blues, once the Hawks come into the zone, Horacek can't get to the net. Zombo may have been hurt on that shot by Horacek. It hit him in the leg, and he's slow and coming back out of his own end. The left side of David Mackey, and he'll flash one right to the net, and Belfour has possession of that, the Chicago goaltender. We are in the second period. The Blues lead the Hawks 2-1. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Craig Janney is such an outstanding passer that he gets criticized for being unselfish at times, and this is one of those plays. Steve Duchesne moves in, and Belfour way out of the net. Janney had the wide open side. Instead of shooting, tries to make the pass through the slot area again, and Chicago was able to get control of the puck and go back the other way.
Left point Shanahan looking for the HT. He's got both St. Louis goals tonight. Can't shoot it on this occasion, so he drops it back in behind the goal to Craig Janney. Janney in front, and it comes right off Belfour, but he smothers that one before it slips by. Well, Janney got behind the net, and he worked the puck out in front, but Belfour able to scoop it up.
Well, you talk about Shanahan. He's been terrific against the Chicago Blackhawks. Counting this game now, in 19 regular season games, Shanahan has 28 points on 17 goals and 11 assists. And if you go back to earlier in the season, back on December 26th, the Blues and the Blackhawks played right here at the arena. The Blues beat the Blackhawks 3-2 in that game. Brendan Shanahan had all 3 goals.
This face-off grabbed now by the Blues, and the Blackhawks, I beg your pardon. Chelios out to center now to Ronick. He'll come up and drop it to the right wing corner with the St. Louis end. Murray Perry defensively back to take it. Runs into center, and it came off Tony Amonte's leg around to Housley, and he'll just wind it ahead back to the neutral zone. Suter back better into the Chicago zone. Paired out here with Chelios. Gives it to the Hawks defenseman. Now to Amonte, and up to center ice to Joe Murphy. Streaks into the Blues in around to Ronick. Ronick avoids a man, turns and shoots it, but he missed the net. Falling down from the left wing circle. Around the right wing board. This game just has gone back and forth, and really it just appears that it's up for grabs right now. Lead 2-1, but at times the Blues look like the stronger team, and then Chicago comes back and takes the attack back, and that has been swinging back and forth.
Yeah, it really has. Meanwhile, Craig Janney with an assist on Brendan Shanahan's first goal. It was initially credited to Steve Duchesne, but Janney clearly the assist on the play. Now his 500th NHL point. Boy, he is really putting together some kind of a career. A very quiet 100-point scorer in the National Hockey League.
There's a deal that worked out well for both clubs.
That really did.
Yep.
It really did.
That's the kind of trade that every GM would like to make. Yeah. One that helps your club, and one that helped the other one, too.
Yeah, and the Blues were dealing from a position of strength, having 3 offensive defensemen, and all season long they had been trying to make a deal to acquire another centerman, with Janney being their only real centerman. They needed number 2 and number 3, and now they've got 3 of them.
They're to the left side of the St. Louis end. A shot like Honeyworth stopped by Curtis Joseph. Hawks trying to put some pressure on. Tilly won't let that happen, and Tilly scoots on the center. Lamont now trying to get into the Chicago end. He runs right into Honeyworth. Picked up though by Chase. Shot right on, and that's Belfour making the save on Kelly Chase. Right break down, break Smyth and Chase. Back in behind the Chicago net. Smyth and Kelly Chase both trying to get their arms free to full punches. Horacek directing traffic, telling everybody, get away from here. Let the heavyweights go, and we don't want you around. Now the left comes off from Smyth.
Now this is something that could have happened easily in the first period, and it sure didn't take long once those 2 players got together. After Kelly Chase had taken the shot, they came together behind the net, and Kelly Chase immediately dropped his glove.
They continue to battle back behind the goal. There aren't a whole lot of punches connecting right now, and I think what the game plan is here for the linesmen is let them punch themselves out, make sure they're so tired that they can't do it again.
Smith has the weight advantage with Kelly Chase, a very smart fighter. He doesn't lose very often, and the second half of this fight has belonged to Kelly Chase. gates and trying to get leverage and throwing their equipment off, and Kelly Chase ripping Smyth off so he could feel some of his punches. And this all started again right after the initial shot by Kelly Chase. They both came together behind the net, got their sticks up, and right away Kelly Chase doesn't waste any time at all as he will end up throwing his gloves down, gets his gloves in the face of Smyth, and Kelly Chase was really the aggressor on this play, even though it won't be called that way. And then they really went at it. Both Smyth and Kelly Chase, two big boys, both good fighters, and the linesman just stepped away, let those two go at it.
And we await the announcement. There's a special seating area that may be just right to your entertainment needs. Club seat section at the new Kiel Center. The Blues are currently taking orders for club seats. A special phone line set up to handle your inquiries at 781-7200. Call for your brochure today. Major penalties to both Smyth and Kelly Chase fighting majors. And we go back to play with a 2-1 St. Louis lead late here in period number 2. And the Hawks controlling the puck from center. They dish it off now to Rutu at the left side. He fires it right on Joseph. That's made the stop. The rebound comes out. The Hawks shoot that one offline. Nedved has it for the Blues. I heard a whistle. It whisked it up back into the Chicago end. Suter back to touch it. And we get an icing call here against St. Louis. That'll bring the play back into the Blues zone.
You know, the reason why the Blues had to ice the puck on this last play is Chris Chelios continually, every time he's on the ice, he pinches in the zone continually. And a lot of times when you're a winger and you think you've got plenty of time and you look up, there's Chris Chelios and he actually forces the icing. Nedved has right there, and Chris Chelios is up on the play and then pulls back. And Nedved had to wait, decide to make a play, tried the long pass, and it's icing on the Blues. And he is so effective at moving in the zone. Physically, he's very strong, and he's an excellent skater as well.
You know, I noticed that you said that, and Chelio, I noticed earlier in the game, Nedved in this period too, that he came down and he looks up and he's not quite sure what he wants to do with the puck. And Chelios is the man that's forcing that play because he made one play, he circled around, went back towards the net, and came out usually when he would come around and turn and skate out. And he's a little unsure of himself right now, Nedved, of what to do with the puck when he comes out.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so difficult. Nedved trying to learn the left wing position after being a center his entire career is a little hesitant over on the boards.
Here's Housley with the puck over to Duchesne and winded up Stastny. Banks it ahead. Nedved took a check there, but he does direct it back into the Chicago zone. Belfour to Christian Rutu. Swept around the far wing and deflected by Isabard all the way up ice. Let's see if icing goes the other way. Yeah, it will. It'll be against Chicago this time. Well, there's a lot more Blues action to come, so sit back and open an ice-cold Budweiser for that crisp, clean, classic taste that only comes from the king of beers.
And we would like to take this time to congratulate Jody Palmisano. She was the winner of the Hardee's Restaurant Southwest Airlines Win the Windy City contest. Jody and three of her friends will be rooting for the Blues this coming Friday night in Chicago Stadium. The Blues, the whole city? She won everything. So she'll be heading to Chicago to see the Blues and the Hawks, courtesy of Hardee's and Southwest Airlines.
Janney of the Blues against Roenick on this face-off, and Roenick cleanly won that one. It's pulled back behind the Chicago net. Chelios, after it backhanded away rink wide to the near side, but the Blues step in and they steal. Murray Barron, hurrying back into the Blues end, comes down and fires a slap shot that Chelios got his stick out and deflected it up into the seats. Let's update quickly on the scoreboard. Florida leading Quebec, and that may be a final 3-2, I think, was in the third period, that score. And the Panthers lead. The Islanders and Capitals are tied at 3 in the third at Washington. And Toronto now leading Dallas 4-1 in period number 2 at Dallas.
Meanwhile, referee Don Koharski has really done a good job of keeping this game under control. He's letting enough go not to cause a riot here at the arena, yet at the same time calling the things that are pretty obvious.
Koharski will be around for the playoffs, and I'm sure when you get to the finals too and down the road. This is marked as being one of the best in the league. Shanahan right side to Housley. His slap shot went right to the net and screened partially to Belfour. He got the glove up to hold it. Now Suter and Miller right after. Is Suter going to get a penalty on this play?
He is. Gary Suter will go off after the whistle. He took Kevin Miller into the net. And Don Koharski right there will make the cross-checking call. And speaking of Don Koharski, you mentioned the veteran official. He's going to be moving to St. Louis. Getting back to that penalty, the long shot by Phil Housley from the point. The stop is made by Belfour, and then after the whistle, Suter with the cross-check on Kevin Miller into the crossbar of the net, and Suter will go off. I mentioned Don Koharski. He's moving to St. Louis. The NHL wanted one of the senior officials to be here in St. Louis. So Koharski, who's been living in Canada for most of his life, is on the verge of buying a house here in St. Louis. He's been looking around. In fact, Larry Pagey, the former Blues player that's in the real estate business, has been helping Don Koharski find a house here in St. Louis.
It's interesting because we're seeing more and more of that. Jerry Payton now lives one of the linesmen in Pittsburgh, and he works out of there. We're seeing more and more centralized type of thing. When you look at St. Louis and Pittsburgh, they're probably two of the best as far as distributing referees and officials from all around the National Hockey League. And it's become a countrywide game, if you will, in the USA and of course, in Canada, too. So they've got to centralize some locations, and they do just like a lot of other people do in corporate business. They set it up that way. Here comes Hall. Breaking back into the Chicago end on the power play. Brett Hall denied on that maneuver by Ruutu. He'll slip it back into St. Louis ice.
Well, one of the reasons why Chicago is such an outstanding penalty-killing team is because of their aggressive play. The Blues have a lot of skill on the ice, but Chicago is forcing the Blues to move the puck quickly, and that's causing a few problems for them.
Over the net. But he couldn't deflect it home as they cut the goal. Run on the outside of it, and now directed back to center by Chicago. And he had a good opportunity there, set up by Hall. Horacek short-handed, coming to the St. Louis line. He'll stop, turn, spin, and bank it away on the backhand into the St. Louis zone.
Well, and that's the way you can beat a good, aggressive penalty-killing unit like Chicago. If you move the puck quickly, normally 2 quick passes, and someone will be open. And Janney had a wonderful opportunity just off the post.
There into the left wing to Brett Hall. And he'll wrap it around the horn, right side to Janney. Janney bank it in behind the net, and Chelios gets control of it. Chelios shoots it off Barron's leg, and here's a hook by Barron on Richie Sutter, but play continues. And on to the St. Louis line. Zombo with 40 seconds to go in the period, 25 in the penalty. Lead pass to Hall on the wrist shot. Chelios got his body in front of that one to block it. Center back out. Janney can't get to it. Hit his leg. Graham trying to find the handle on it. Will, and here's a 2-on-2 break for the Hawks coming back short-handed. They move into the St. Louis in, and Chelios now swings back and carries the puck to kill the time. Skating well is Chris Chelios. Chelios now finds an opening. 1 second left on the penalty. Good skating by Chelios. And the Blues go back and get it, and they fail to score in this power play chance. 9 seconds left in the period. A steal by Ruutu and the Blues in. Ruutu off the left wing, boys. Ropa takes a shot, deflected right in on Joseph, and he stops that play as Dubinsky had a good chance to tie the game late here in the second period. But stopped there by Curtis Joseph. Don't miss out on the unbelievable savings at Metro Lighting's huge spring tent sale this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the parking lot of Metro Lighting's Arsenal location. See the light and save.
Well, Steve Dubinsky had a great chance deflecting the shot, and Curtis Joseph made the save. Meanwhile, just prior to all this, the Blues had a chance of their own. Brett Hall fakes the shot and then sets up Janney, who's all alone on the other side. No one around him, and Janney deflecting the shot on his backhand. That puck just goes right off the post. Chelios came all the way over, left Janney wide open, and Janney on the backhand. Boy, that just came off the stick. He had a wide open net. He actually probably Mike could have stopped the puck and taken his time and put it in, but he attempts the deflection, lets the puck get away from him a little bit and off the post.
1 second left, they drop the puck, and that ends the period. And the Blues are leading 1-0 at the end of one. Now the tempers heat up here again late after the horn sounded here. The Blues have filed out of their bench. Chicago remains on the bench. Hopefully things will cool down. They will. We'll play 2 periods here at the arena in St. Louis. Coming up in the intermission, Rick Mahar will visit with Tony Amali of the Chicago Blackhawks. And this is St. Louis Blues hockey. Here in St. Louis, the Blues have the lead over Chicago at the end of 2, and standing by Rick Mahar with Tony Amani of the Blackhawks, and let's join them right now. Thanks, Mike. Well, Tony, the first question I have to ask you, what's it like playing in Chicago Stadium when you have the fans on your side?
Oh, it's great. It's been a big thrill for me so far. Excited to get out there and play. We got a good team here. We're just trying to come together and start winning these last few hockey games.
I know it's disappointing to be traded, but I guess you have to look at it. Chicago wanted you, and they felt that you were the type of player that could help their hockey team.
Definitely, that's the way I looked at it. I was excited to get here. John seemed excited to have me, so it was a good situation coming from all around. I left New York, no hard feelings or anything like that. I just happy to be here and be playing on a great hockey team.
It takes a while, I guess, to get used to the players, the new guys on your team, but how similar is Daryl Sutter's system as compared to Mike Keenan's?
Oh, it's just about the same, all out forechecking, playing as hard as you can, taking the body. So it's, I did learn a few things from Mike Keenan, and hopefully I can, not alter my game too much, but just help myself out and make myself a better all-around player,
I guess both of them demand a lot of hard work.
Oh, that's the bottom line, with especially when you put on this Blackhawks jersey. You expect to go out there and give 150% every night, and anything less isn't satisfactory. So you got to do that, and when we do that, we're a great team.
Well, you left New York, and you had Mike Richter there with 40 wins. You come to Chicago, and you got Ed Belfour with 35. I guess there's two players, if you want to start a hockey team, you could probably start with.
Oh, that's always the biggest factor, on any team is how the goalie's playing in the nets. And Eddie was hurt for a little while there. He's back. He's a great goaltender, top goaltender in the league, and if he keeps on playing great, we're going to have a great shot.
Normally this time of year, I guess the coaches would like to give some of their key players some rest, but you really can't do it because nothing's settled in this division.
Oh, I mean, it's just every one of these last 5 games is going to be a dogfight, and we need the points, so we're going to be out there giving it our all. You never know. Knock on wood, everybody's going to stay healthy, and just be ready for this the 85th game of the season.
But talking about injuries, you got some key people out of the lineup that I guess you're hoping to have back pretty soon.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hopefully, you guys will be working hard to get back in the lineup, and like I said, anything can happen this year in the Cup. I don't think there's any clear-cut favorite. I don't think anything can happen. Who's ever at the top of their game, come the first round, is going to do well.
Do the Chicago Blackhawks have a team that they would like to play?
I haven't heard any of the guys discussing it, but we're going to be ready for anybody, and just get out there and give it our all and play hard.
Well, fellow BU guy, and we're not going to talk about the NCAA final tonight. Mike, back upstairs to you.
All right, Rick, and for being our guest tonight, Tony Amani will receive dinner for 2 at Brett Hall's Restaurant and Grill at Union Station. After 2 periods of play, our score here at the St. Louis Arena, the Blues 2 and the Hawks 1. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. Stay with us. Bruce and Rick are up next, followed by second period highlights. Big race going on to see who's going to finish first in the National Hockey League as far as the goal-scoring department. Looking at it, it's a tight race.
It really is. Pavel Bure with 55. He and Fedorov leading the way, but Brett Hall and Dave Andrechuk just a couple of goals behind, and then Adam Graves, what a year he has had for the New York Rangers. He's 5th right now with 51 goals.
First 50-goal scorer since Mick Hatfield of the Rangers. Tonight's NHL Leaders is brought to you by the United States Postal Service. We deliver for you.
Now, speaking of goal scorers, how about Bobby Hall? He's here in attendance tonight. Of course, the father of Brett, he came in to see his new grandson, Jude Hall, who was born not too long ago. He's about 6 weeks old now, and Bobby Hall in town to visit his new grandson, and his son, I should say.
Blues moving left to right to begin period number 3. They start the period with a 1-goal advantage here, and Brett Hall looks to move it ahead in net bed. He breaks into the Chicago end, snaps on their side, swing it over to the far corner. Duchesne did not go in to get it, and the Hawks now take possession. And it's Chris Chelios winding the puck over to Jeff Chance, the center iceman for the Hawks. He is stopped on the play at the blue line, and the Blues take over again. Twisted up to Stastny. Stastny looking for Nedved, who cruises in deep. Underneath the skates, and jam up around Stastny, battling Cunneyworth. The whistle sounds, and Stastny's going to get a roughing call. Stastny just reached down and poked Randy Cunneyworth in the face, and he'll get the minor penalty here, and the Blues are going to be short-handed. Big chance for the Hawks early in the third.
Yeah, Nedved had gone in to try and forecheck and control the puck, and he was taken out of play by Gary Suter. following those two players in was Peter Stosny, and Cunningworth was with him, and Cunningworth just knocked the stick out of Stosny's hand, and then Stosny retaliated with a right punch to the head. Cunningworth took a step back, looked at the referee, Don Koharski, and Koharski makes the call. So we played just 36 seconds of this third period. The Blues leading it 2-1, but Chicago gets an early power play in the third.
Kelly Chase in the penalty box with Stosny after the fight he made late in the second period. He's still in there. Greg Smyth also for the Blackhawks, serving his time. So Chicago starts the power play, and on the night they're 0 for 5. This is one of the reasons they can look at themselves if they don't win this game. They wish they've been able to convert on the power play. We'll see if they can do it here. You get that feeling, Joey, and I have throughout the game that it's up for grabs right now, and the Blues are going to try and kill this penalty, and Chelios comes up, and the Hawks now drive it deep into the St. Louis end. Wilson watches the play, and Zombo takes it, and he'll yank it out of danger.
Now, Mike, that's a good point, because this has been a game where we've had so many swings in momentum. The Blues would dominate for a while, and Chicago would come back with their forechecking and their defense pinching in. We've talked about the power plays, and you're right. I think this game, especially being 2-1, is still up for grabs.
Here's Suter at the left point. He stumbles a bit. Miller, though, pokes it away from him. Rick Zombo has it short-handed up to Darin. Darin just kicks it ahead back into the Chicago zone. Minute 12 to go on the penalty to St. Louis. Early in the third, the Blues lead 2-1. Chelios comes right up the alley now, working for Chicago. Snap it off the boards around to the right wing corner. Eisenbart went in. He didn't get to it. Roenick will. Roenick to the right point. Good pass. Chelios coming up, pushing to the net. Stopped by Joseph. The rebound. It was one of the few you'll see, but it's picked up by the Blues, and Duchesne's going to bang that one all the way up ice. Putting pressure on Belfour. Belfour swings it over to Rutu with 45 to go on the Blues, minor to Stosny. Rutu scrambling through, coming to the Blues line. We find one too many moves there. Housley poke checked it away. And here is Suter delivering the puck back behind the St. Louis net. And all night long, to me, has been extremely powerful on penalty killing. He has just read the play so well and has moved the puck out of his own end. Key times. Rutu's pass over to Carney, and he comes to the Blues line. Shanahan took that one away. Leaves it for Kevin Miller. Miller turns, and he finds an opening, and the Hawks have to race all the way back to get it again.
Yeah, and Phil Housley as well, who is, again, he's seeing time killing penalties as a forward. He has stepped in and hasn't looked out of place at all.
Eisenbart, final seconds of this power play. Tamped it behind the Blues net. Nobody's there. St. Louis in control of it, and Shanahan with a penalty over. Stosny's back on. The Blues are at equal strength. Stosny goes to the bench. The crowd comes on now for the Blues, and he puts pressure on Rutu, but Rutu slips it into the left wing corner of the St. Louis end. Here's Cunningworth centering. Nobody there. Kevin Miller turns and rifles it off the boards. It'll be an icing call against the Blues. Chelios to touch up with 16:59 left here in the third, and St. Louis still holding on to a 2-1 lead.
Pardon me, Mike. We're talking about some changes on both these teams, and one of the real pluses for Chicago has been Randy Cunningworth, and this was a player that they tried to acquire last year at the trading deadline, but he was hurt. But he has come in and played very, very good hockey for Chicago. He scored 4 goals since he has been here. In fact, he scored 2 against the Blues in a recent game in Chicago. But he has stepped in, given his team some grit, some leadership. He's been around the league for a long time, and you saw him one of his stints, at least in Pittsburgh, but he has come in and done a fine job for Chicago.
I talked to him prior to the game. He seemed very happy in Chicago, but when the trade was made and when he went to Chicago, here's Belfour from the left point shooting when deflected. The word was that Cunningworth, who will be a free agent at the end of this year, was going to go back and sign with Hartford at the end of the season. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. The Blues 2 and the Blackhawks 1. We'll return in a moment. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Welcome back to the arena. Joe Micheletti and Mike Lang. Rick Mahar and Bruce Affleck are here. We're just into the third period. The Blues leading the Blackhawks by a goal.
You were looking for Ken Wilson. He is on assignment tonight. Bring this game to you now in the third period with 16:45 left. And the Blues leading by 1. Chicago in its own territory. And Horacek trying to come to center now on the right side to Shantz. He cuts around. Housley moves into the slot with a nice move. A backhand shot, and that's stopped by Joseph. That's going to cut the flank to his left. Gophers in deep on the play for Chicago. Threw it back, but it's cut off. And here come the Blues back on the move. Housley leads the parade back going in. Montgomery going to the net, and Housley shoots it right to the net. Where it's stopped by goaltender Belfour, and he has possession of his glove.
Oh, what a move by Jeff Shantz to get inside the Blues territory and make the play. Shantz actually started the play from the neutral zone. He'll just carry it from his right all the way to the left. It's a good move on Phil Housley. And Shantz, who has not scored a goal since December, with the backhand shot. Curtis Joseph with a fine glove save on Jeff Shantz. And when you talk about making changes, one of the reasons the Hawks traded Jeff Shantz, or Kevin Todd, I should say, was because of the fine play of the youngster Jeff Shantz.
Darin Kimble did a good job there, too, of running interference. And he was called on a penalty, but he wasn't. Running Crossman away from the play, allowing Shantz an opportunity to come in one-on-one on goaltender Joseph.
Good point.
Here in the right wing circle of the Chicago zone. Stosny against Jeremy Roney, comes right point to Hull, and a slam shot. He now a 3-1.
Boy, you talk about the importance of face-offs and what Peter Stastny has meant to this team. Prior to the face-off, he stepped away because he wanted the Chicago player to put his stick down first. So he stepped away, and then he got back into position after the Chicago player put his stick down. So he's in position first, for those of you that are watching on TV, and then he goes back in, wins it cleanly back to Brett Hull, who fired it through a maze of players through the legs of Ed Belfour.
45 to 50 feet. Hull gets the goal, number 54 in the season. Here again, breaking back into the Chicago zone. Mike Chelios now a 3-1 St. Louis lead in the holding call coming up. A penalty coming up here. And it's going to go against the Blackhawks with Chelios.
Mike, getting back to that play again, Stastny was there, and then he stepped aside and repositioned himself, and then the perfect face-off right back to the stick of Brett Hull. There were some players between Brett Hull and Ed Belfour, and Hull with the hard shot goes right through the legs. Boy, oh boy, has Stastny been some kind of a player since he has come to St. Louis and solidified the center ice position. And even going back to the last game where the Blues won in overtime in Chicago, it was Peter Stastny that won a big face-off with less than 30 seconds to go in the game, and Steve Duchesne tied the game before the Blues went on to win it in overtime.
Directed aside by Ruto back into the St. Louis end, and 3-1 St. Louis lead over the Blackhawks. And the Blues trying to add to it. A big goal from Brett Hull. Now with 54, one shy of the league leader. Here comes Danny rushing in, coming to the Chicago and looks to Hull on the right wing. Can't get it through to him, and Ruto again snaps it away. Floats easily back into the St. Louis zone. Stastny gets an assist on that goal, and a lot of times they don't on plays where they make like that, and they're just as important as any assist or goal you'll score in games when they can win those face-offs and control the play. Carney getting the puck over to Rich Sutter, and that'll be very valuable in the playoffs should Stastny be a big force in that category.
Yeah, Mike, that was like a perfect pass. I mean, that puck didn't come back with too much velocity. It was perfect. Right on the tape of Brett Hull, who didn't have to move at all. All he had to do was simply tee it up. The puck wasn't rolling. It was nice and flat.
Donnie with the Rich Sutter short-handed. He fires it in on Curtis Joseph, and he'll make that save with the right pad. Joseph with a 2-goal advantage right now. Here comes Hull, streaking back into the Chicago end. And Danny Shanahan on the left wing. He has 2 tonight. Shanahan with a pair, Hull with 1. And the Hawks take it away, and holding short-handed as a man open right side Murphy. Coming to the Blues end, goes to Murphy, walks in, he shoots it, and it's stopped by Joseph, and he got a pad on that. Ronick again scrambles, gets the puck over to Gary Suter, comes in a slap shot. Where was it? It's off the glove apparently of Joseph. And the Blues come back. 2 good scoring chances for the Hawks, but they can't beat Joseph. Now here are the Blues again on the rush to the right wing side of the Chicago end. Shanahan slip it over to the far wing. It comes to Doug Klossman. Klossman called it back in behind with that. It comes to Shanahan one more time. Stosny goes to the back of it toward behind the goal. The pass was intended for him, and it went by him, and it's clear. 9 seconds on the Chicago penalty. The Blues rush up for the final time here on this man advantage. Sneaking off the boards, and Weinrich goes in to take command of it. Chelios comes on. The penalty's over. Lead pass to Chelios. Here he comes, trying to get a breakaway. He has to slow the play down because Tilly had the angle on it. Now Chelios sweeping into between the circles, stolen by Stosny. He comes up 1-on-3. A lot of red jersey in front of him. He's going to shoot the puck in. comes off the boards to Kevin Miller. Looks for a trailer in Nedved. Nedved's in front. He can't get a 6-3. And Belfour reaches out to grab it and hold on. Push around that net as Nedved got around the Chicago goal. 13:35 left here in period number 3. The Blues have added another one. They lead Chicago 3-1. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Getting back to the goal that Brett Hall scored. Now the rule is that the visiting team has to put their stick on the ice for a face-off first. Stastny waited for Roenick, stepped away, and then went back in, and then won the face-off clearly. He made a smart play. That's a veteran move to just hold off, show a lot of patience, and then he wins the face-off, and there's Brett Hall, who just blasted right through a maze of players. Ed Belfour was screened somewhat on the play, and the puck right through the legs of Belfour to give the Blues a 3-1 lead.
The Hawks, after this face-off in their own end, Weinrich wrist to the head to center to Shantz and into the St. Louis zone, but the Blues break it up again. They force it back to the Chicago line. Carney stops that maneuver. Save it up into St. Louis real estate. Duchesne and the Blues try and come back up ice. Blues captain Brett Hall is going to bang it into the Chicago end off the left wing corner boards. And Shantz corrals it with 13:07 to go in the third. 3-1 the score. The Blues lead. And Horacek trying to find a lane. Twists it up the right side. Kimble goes in, one-arms it towards the front of the net, and it does come in front of Joseph, and he stops it, and they stop by Shantz to come in and put the ice right up into the face of Curtis Joseph. And here are the home games remaining on the slate. Thursday night, the Los Angeles Kings are here. They're trailing 1-0 against the Sharks in Los Angeles at the moment. Sunday, Dallas at noon. That'll be Coca-Cola team poster afternoon. And Thursday the 14th, the Winnipeg Jets here, Fan Appreciation Night.
And again, just a reminder, that game Sunday in Dallas, that's Sunday the 10th, that will be a 12 o'clock start.
Joseph's carrying on. He watches the play here to his left, 25 feet away. The face-off between Roenick and Janney. The Blues win the draw. Slip of the head to center to Shanahan, and he goes to that right wing corner boards again. Off the boards, Janney gets the puck, and he fires it right to Belfour, and he stops it. Shanahan loves to go to that corner, and watching him drop that puck in. And they look to just kind of bounce it out and look for a man cutting on the play, and look for that puck as he moves into that area.
And Gary Suter and Kevin Miller again having words. And remember, Gary Suter was sent off at the end of that second period for cross-checking Kevin Miller after the whistle. And I talked about Suter struggling somewhat to find his game here in Chicago. He wasn't used to playing in this division, that Pacific Division, much more wide open, not quite as much hitting. So it's taken him a little while to adjust to a closer checking style of play.
Roenick and the Hawks after the face-off now have command of the puck. Amani trying to go back to Roenick on the right side. He'll get it back to Murphy, and a drop pass. Amani comes in, but he couldn't get to the puck. The Blues counterattack. Kevin Miller on to Janney at center circle. Well, the Hawks down. That's Amani behind the St. Louis goal. The Blues have an advantage here, but they can't get anybody around the net.
Amani took a tremendous hit from Brendan Shanahan on the play, and he's really favoring his leg.
Now we get a little battle break as Shanahan and Joe Murphy start to go at it. And that was what you were talking about. Shanahan, as Murphy came after him apparently, and the tempers heated up, and then Shanahan got involved with Joe Murphy. Amani still struggling to get to the bench, and he is hurt. Suter has a hold of one of the Blues here. Miller?
No, that's Rick Zombo.
Sorry.
And Rutu also involved as well, so there's actually two players on Rick Zombo. And actually what has happened here, Chicago was making a change, so they have 6 players out there. The Blues also have 6 players on the ice as well.
Chelios now in the middle of the parade.
And this whole thing started, Mike, on a play where Chicago had the rush coming down the ice, and in front of the net, Amante was getting ready to take the pass, and just before he could shoot the puck, Brendan Shanahan was coming back on the play, and really from a blind side, Amante didn't see him coming, and Shanahan with a tremendous shoulder to Amante, and he gets knocked down, and then all this play erupted when Amante was trying to get off the ice, and everyone was involved with the puck in front or in between the two benches.
Don Koharski, the referee, wanted to sort things out. It appears almost assuredly that Shanahan and Murphy will be headed in. In fact, they've already taken a seat in their respective penalty box.
Now I was talking about the play, and Amonte is number 10. He's trying to get control. Now Shanahan's coming from the other side. Amonte doesn't see him coming. He's trying to lean to his left, so he's got all his weight on one leg, trying to move to his left. Shanahan is coming the other way, and with Shanahan's great strength and his speed, I believe it was just a knee that collapsed. Well, you could just see his right knee look like it collapsed somewhat on the play, and Amonte right away knew that he was hurt, stayed down, and then as play continued, he was able to get back to his feet from behind the Blues net and make his way all the way to the Chicago bench. Shanahan is one of the players in the penalty box for the Blues. Joe Murphy, the Chicago Blackhawks player, in the penalty box.
The Blues are going to end up short-handed in this situation. We'll double-check, though, but Shanahan gets a minor for high-sticking and a roughing minor, and Murphy gets 2 minutes for roughing. So if I'm not mistaken, that will be a power play chance here for the Chicago Blackhawks. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Cheers! Weeknights at 10:30 on St. Louis 11.
These penalties coming about at 7:46, and they'll have to have somebody go in to serve the minor penalty for Shanahan, and Kelly Chase goes over. They put his number up on the board, so he'll be the man serving the penalty. And Chicago, again, with another opportunity to get back into this game. This will be their 7th power play chance.
And that's really been one of the key stories in this game. Chicago with the chances. They had the first power play opportunity of this game just a couple of minutes into the game. There's been the Blues penalty killing that has kept Chicago off balance. Brett Hull, you mentioned, has seen a great deal of time killing penalties, as has Brendan Shanahan. And Shanahan is going to be missed in this situation because he has been one of the Blues' top penalty killers, leads the league in shorthanded goals with 6. And now the Blues have some work to do with Shanahan being in the penalty box and Chicago on the power play.
And from a different perspective, and of course, I work a lot of the Pittsburgh games and work them, and I watch, and we talked about this before the game and everything. But the guy that really has been steady and consistent throughout the whole thing is Curtis Joseph. He just continually, and you take him for granted sometimes. I mean, and when you look at it, I know you do. I mean, I'm telling you, but he's there consistently night after night after night, and he's just doing the job, keeping the Hawks off the board. They've got 29 shots.
Yeah, and the Blues have certainly cut down on their shots against the last 6 weeks or so, but in this game tonight, Joe Murphy in particular, 2 short-handed breakaways, missed both of them.
Yeah. And here comes Horacek up on their side, bringing the puck to the left point to Suter. He'll crank it up, a shot, and Joseph reached up through a lot of traffic and pulls that one out of the atmosphere to hold on. Suter really gunned that shot. It was a rising slap shot. And Joseph again with that big paw pulled it in.
Well, his concentration is like it was in the playoffs last year. Joseph, you mentioned a maze of players. They all go to the front of the net. A pretty good job by the Blues and Murray Barron getting Ruutu out of the way just before the shot. Barron actually with a cross-check on Ruutu takes him out of the way, and then Barron very smartly steps to the side to allow Curtis Joseph to see that puck as it's coming through that lane. Good defensive play by Murray Barron.
11 minutes and 54 seconds left here in the third period. Jim Montgomery out here against Ruutu. That's the face-off to the right of Joseph. They drop the puck. Ruutu won it cleanly to Suter, left point. Where's he going to go with it? To go right side to Chelios of the Hawks. Back to Suter, open center point. Swing it over to Roenick. Left wing circle. Moves in. Right side. Got a man open. Chelios shoots it. Save made. Rebound. There is no rebound as Joseph has it again.
Oh, what a tremendous save, and give Chicago credit for moving the puck around right off the face-off, and this is where they miss Shanahan as well. Jim Montgomery loses the face-off to Ruutu, and then the fake shot this time by Suter, and Roenick again, and Roenick with a good pass from the left over to the right with Chelios moving in, so Joseph had to go left to right and then back over again to his left. And the quick shot by Chelios, he tries to get it through the pads, but Joseph with that great leg strength and his ability to move side to side, gets across, makes the first save, and then he's there again as Yzerbark goes after the rebound.
Tony Amani has gone to the Chicago dressing room, and you saw the frustration on Yzerbark. They had 3 shots there. They only put 3 total, including Suter. Now they put another one up. They had 3 cracks at it there, and Joseph right there said, it's not going to happen. And the face-off. So Amani has gone to the Chicago dressing room. We'll probably not see him the rest of the way. On the right side, Rutsu, minute 22 to go. He shoots it to the net. Joseph again scrambles to make the save and hold on. Zombo flattens Eisenbart in front of the goal.
And again, a good job by the Blues defense. They're taking the man from in front of Curtis Joseph. This time it's Rick Zombo making the defensive play. Chicago, they'd like to make the one pass and then throw the puck at the net, either with a wrist shot or a hard slap shot. And again, this time, Chelios starts off the play, and Ruther will just take the shot, and in front is Eisenbart. He's trying to get to the front of the net, but just an outstanding defensive play by Rick Zombo. His positioning was perfect. Eisenbart had to try and get through Zombo to get to the front of the net. Zombo wouldn't let him.
Hawks have been winning a lot of face-offs here in this power play. Roenick just won another one. It comes right point over to Chelios. Chelios off to the left wing boards. Suter comes over to take it, and he'll drop it behind the net. Nobody there. Around to the right side to Chelios again. He'll poke in the corner for Jeremy Roenick. Roenick looking to Rutsu, Christian Rutsu. Wheel and deal, and he'll pass left point. Suter goes after it. It came by him and out of the zone. Montgomery and Miller, the penalty killers for Coach Bob Berry. Barron and Zombo back. And here is Roenick trying to get in around the net, and it hopped off his stick right to Joseph, and he doesn't take any chances at all. He just grabs that puck in this situation and holds onto it. Another face-off.
Yeah, and it's another good defensive play by Rick Zombo, something that is very unnoticeable, but Roenick nearly had a breakaway. Suter is going to set him up, and Zombo, who was beat on the play, turns with his stick and then just deflects it. As Roenick had it on his stick, he would have had a good scoring chance, and Zombo with good reactions, just turning and poking the puck as Roenick was going past him, poking it off his stick so that Joseph could cover up on the play.
The Hawks have called timeout. A pretty good time to do so here. They're down by a pair, and they need to try and get this power play goal going. This is their 7th opportunity, and they have only 47 seconds left.
Now, Gerald Sutter, trying to keep his power play unit fresh, calls the timeout. Now he's explaining things to his players at the Chicago bench. And again, that has been a real key in this game. Chicago's 7th power play of the evening. They have not scored a power play goal as of yet. In fact, they've had better chances short-handed than they have on the power play.
Housley is going to come up front now with Brett Hall. And Zombo and Barron will play it on the backside. This face-off in the left wing circle this time in the St. Louis zone.
Brett Hall's going to try and win it against Christian Rutsu, who's been very good tonight.
Battle for it. Hall works it back, but it comes to the left point to Suter. Suter of Chicago skates laterally, fires it on, and that stop made by Joseph. The rebound out to the right wing corner. Chelios of Chicago bouncing around to the near wing, and the Blues get it though, and they fire it up ice. Eddie Belfour, the Chicago goaltender, comes out quickly. Gary Suter, Chicago point man, takes it from him. Comes up with 25 to go in the penalty to the Blues. And rifling the puck back in, it comes off the boards. Joseph grabbed it up in the air, dropped it. Now he's out of the net. Comes free from him around the near side. Joseph gets back in the goal. It comes to Suter, left point. Right side to Chelios, moves in, puck's on edge, and he fires that one, but he missed the cage. Around to the left wing boards. Roenick might have a chance. He walks in around one man, fires it to the far corner, and he couldn't get the net. It went off the glass on the far wing. Back come the Hawks again to set it up. Right point, Chelios. Looking down deep to Rutsu. Penalty is over, and here comes Eisenbart now behind the net going to Rutsu. Rutsu to the right of the cage, comes out, turns, looks, shoots, and he missed the goal. And Kelly Chase banks to the head. Here comes Housley. He just fly up into the Chicago end. He'll skate with the puck, looking for Brett Hall, but Hall is taken out of the action by Rutsu, and he now comes to the St. Louis bench. Chase Pilati with one of the Hawks back behind the Chicago goal. Chelios and Chase. St. Louis end. Belfour comes over now, takes a crack at Chase, and starts swinging it in. Belfour gets involved here with Kelly Chase as he and Chelios grab a hold of one another. And Belfour wanted to have him let him go.
Well, Belfour should be thrown out of the game for being the third man in an altercation.
Can't bring the chance for that up. We'll be back. Blues 3, the Blackhawks 1. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Well, there's a lot of noise here at the arena. 9:44 to go. Now the play started with Chase going in. He had just come out of the penalty box, and he and Chris Chelios get tangled up. And Belfour leaves the net as Chase and Chelios are going at it, and then he just starts punching away with his gloves on. The referee, Don Koharski, is there to pull Belfour away.
But they will get an extra penalty. Belfour is going to pick up one. I think the Blues will end up with a power play into this. They've got to put a man in the penalty box that was on the ice. Chelios in for roughing. Chase gets a roughing call. Belfour 2 for leaving the crease and 2 for roughing. So he's going to get a double minor.
Meanwhile, this gives us a chance to send get well wishes to Bill McGrath. He's at St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Belleville. He's a big Blues season ticket holder. We'd like to send him our best and get well soon, Bill.
Shands has gone in to serve the penalties to Belfour. Hasn't put anything on the board as of yet.
And one of the longtime NHL officials here at the arena, Ed Fergus, is at St. Luke's Hospital, and we wish Ed a speedy recovery.
Certainly do. Unless I'm mistaken here, the Blues should have a power play, and they haven't put any time on the board. They might be trying to sort everything out here, and here comes Koharski over, the referee, to talk to the folks there at the penalty timekeeper's bench, as if to say, let's put some time up here. Perhaps that may not be the right penalty call. They may have to readjust them. Stanley Cup playoffs are right around the corner. Any Blues ticket outlet or 291-7600. It's the number to call. Blues will be matching it up in Stanley Cup playoffs.
On your right, Mike, they're still at the penalty timekeeper's box trying to get things straightened out.
It might mean that it's not going to be a double minor. And I'm not quite sure if Koharski now pulls back. They're going to have to put some time on the board if what, in fact, we were received from the original penalties is correct. Well, tonight's goal-scoring recap brought to you by your Midwest GMC truck dealers, Bellman, Marino, and Brockman GMC. There it is. Shanahan is 44th on a power play. Carney and tied it. Shanahan is 45th on a big goal by Hall here in the third, Bill.
Yeah, it really was a big goal to give the Blues that 2-goal lead. Meanwhile, the Blues will have a 4-minute power play. So, Mike, you were right the first time. Belfour with the double minor, and the Blues with less than 10 minutes to go in this game. A big power play opportunity.
Yeah, and Belfour really can look at himself because he's got it left the crease and then a roughed up Kelly Chase. And they egged him on into it, and he puts his club short-handed for 4 minutes. 3-1 the score. The Blues settle in from their own end, and here comes Steve Duchesne. St. Louis with a big chance really to open this one up. And Duchesne is going to wrap it back into the Chicago zone. Near corner. Carney comes up with it. Can he clear? He can't. Stosny putting pressure on. Shanahan with a pair tonight. And Brett Hull with one. Hull is out here right now for the Blues. Nedved, Stosny, and Hall up front. They've got Housley and Duchesne as a point man. Around it goes to Hall. Center point. Duchesne shoots one. That save made. The rebound. Sutter. Richie Sutter has it. And he'll rip it back into the St. Louis zone.
And, Mike, certainly the Blues would like to score on this power play, and they have to try to do that. At the same time, they've got to keep in mind this aggressive Chicago penalty killing unit. 13 shorthanded goals on the season, and they've had some chances shorthanded tonight.
So Karaf will deliver it over to the left point to Crossman. Crossman, though, couldn't make a play, and the Hawks steal. Here comes Roenick, shorthanded, moving to the Chicago zone. Moves in against Tilly, and Tilly turns him around. And he falls down. 2 Hawks to Crackman. Here come the Blues. Kelly on the play, coming to the Chicago end to Janney over to he got a shot go, came off the heel of his stick. That went wide. Janney again behind the cage. Over to Miller. Shot, he scores! And it's Miller from inside. And the Blues now lead 4-1. Miller is smiling like a butcher's dog.
Oh, boy. What a pass from Craig Janney from behind the net. You talk about having the goaltender fooled on the play. It all starts in the Blues zone with Roenick trying to get going short-handed. Then the Blues will break out 4-on-2 led by Tom Tilly. Tilly's going to end up dropping the pass to Craig Janney, who then attempts the pass, makes the pass. The shot by Prokhorov goes behind the net. But there's Janney. He fakes one way, goes the other way, and then throws it back the other way. Belfour's looking the other side. A great play by Miller to get in the open, and Miller just puts it into the empty net for the power play goal, and the Blues are up 4-1.
Janney's made 2 real pretty passes in this game, boy, to set up goals. That is a power play goal, and the Blues remain on the power play. They have cashed in for the second time tonight. And they lead Chicago by 3. And that might have been the one that sealed it up here. Down the right wing, here comes Brett Hall trying to make a play, and he can. It comes away from him and cleared by Chicago.
Like there's just not many players in the league that can make that pass like that from behind the net. We've seen Gretzky for many, many years, but Housley is terrific from back there. Or I should say Janney.
Out of the right corner, that will be Housley. Off the left side to Duchesne. He'll set it up for Brett Hall. Now the Blues really threatening to really open this up totally if they could score here, but they can't on this occasion as Weinrich takes in there and passes away and goes to Cunnyworth. Cunnyworth's going to slip it back into St. Louis territory. And the reliable Curtis Joseph gives the puck to Steve Duchesne. 7 minutes to go in regulation. 4-1 St. Louis, and the Blues actually just dropped it in front of their bench and gave it away. Nedved, though, scrambles to get possession back. Starts from his own end. He'll pass it over to Brett Hall, and he finds a lane around Roenick. Going left wing to Nedved. He blows right by the defenseman Smyth, going to the net, cuts behind the goal now. Nedved hit hard on the play by Smyth, who caught him from behind. Only made the mistake to get beat on the play, but he came back and recovered and put Nedved hard into the boards. Cleared by Chicago. And the Blues come up with 25 seconds. Lead pass to Nedved. He's back with the puck on a breakaway. Walks in and hey! Joseph scores! Nedved drills it over the body of Belfour, and the Blues lead 5-1. Great shot.
A terrific goal, and it's all started by Curtis Joseph. He'll get an assist on the play as he comes out of his net to play the puck, and then a perfect pass to Craig Janney. And then Janney looks up and puts a perfect pass to Peter Nedved, who got behind the Chicago defense. Then it's just a matter of Nedved deking, waiting. Belfour goes down. Nedved to his backhand, puts it high into the net to score the power play goal, and it's 5-1 for the Blues. Boy, just some great moves by Nedved. He started deking a couple of times. Belfour went down. Nedved to his backhand, deposits it into the open net. And that makes it 5-1 here at the arena.
Well, they're loving it here, and the Blues really have just put this game out of reach for Chicago. Here comes Weinrich down the right wing. Losing the puck. Move, left side, David Mackey looking for Montgomery instead of Winthrop, and he got a shot going again. The second time here he's had the puck come off the heel of his stick, and a turning backhand shot now as he comes out in front. Belfour stopped that one. The Blues with 29 shots, the Hawks with 35, but St. Louis leading 5-1. And directed away off the board. I'm going to check and see if that's a power play goal. It should be. Power play goal by Ned. Third of the game. We're going to stop and play here at the St. Louis Arena. The Blues rolling right along at the moment. They lead Chicago 5-1. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. A whole lot.
The Blues scored 2 power play goals on the double minor. They had Belfour, the first one. Craig Janney on a great pass. Kevin Miller to one side, goes all the way over. Belfour thinks that Janney's coming out the other way. Gives Miller the perfect pass. He puts it in. That makes it 4-1. Then Janney, the great pass to Nedved, who breaks in all along and beats Belfour on the backhand to make it 5-1 Blues.
Well, officially, I've got the Blues 3 for 6 on the power play tonight. So we talk about a special teams game, the way it was decided. Well, the Blues score on the power play. The Hawks do not. Another penalty coming up here. Kelly Chase and Chase now penalty. So Zombo gets involved, and here they all go. Rick Zombo and Darin Kimble, and now Greg Smyth and Ramoff get battling one another. This fight's still going on with Zombo and Kimble on the far side. Now another one breaks out with Smyth and Tony Horacek, and Smyth has him in trouble. He gets himself back up, this Horacek. They're all jammed up, and now it's like tag team.
Now you can see this coming. Kelly Chase is out there, and there were a number of players that took runs at Kelly Chase. And then Rick Zombo did a good thing and stepped in to help out Kelly Chase.
There's a big right by Murray Barron. Barron is the man involved in the corner there.
With Smyth.
Yeah. Smyth had the upper hand early, and then again, here comes Barron back. And who is this?
That's Darin Kimble, who was involved with Zombo. And certainly Kimble is one of the tough guys in the league, but Kelly Chase had 3 or 4 players take a run at him. And Zombo was the first player to really come to his aid as Darin Kimble was trying to get at Kelly Chase from a different angle. Zombo jumped in.
He wants
a great job by Zombo because Chase was in the where he had a number of players coming after him. Kimble was up those players. Here we go now. Horacek and Chase. Only took a little while, didn't it, Mike?
They threw a couple of punches at one another earlier and then backed off. And they're still swinging away. An uppercut by Chase. Boy, that's got to be tough fight for those punches. I mean, it's just not only tough to stand up, but it's with an uppercut again. I wonder how most of them don't break their hands really by the time the year's over. I mean, it's as much as they go.
Now Horacek, the former Flyer, missed the first part of the season with back surgery. He didn't start playing again until December, and they're still going at it.
Danny McCourt and Pat DeBruzzo were in their dollars. They separate those two. They got a line here when they go out, man. One thing they do get, they get the hot water. There is a reason for it.
Kelly Chase has had a busy night.
He'll be exhausted.
And he's not the biggest guy around, and you don't think the people of St. Louis appreciate his efforts. He's only 190 pounds. He's not considered one of the bigger, tough guys in the league, but he's a terrific fighter, as we mentioned earlier. And again, he had about 3 players running at him. First of all, Smyth takes a run at him. Then he takes a high stick from Horacek. Kimble comes in as the third player. That's where Zombo really came to the aid of Kelly Chase by jumping on Darin Kimble. And then the Blues had a couple other players. Karamnov, who's not used to the rough stuff, gets knocked down a few times. Murray Darin out there as well.
And then Darin got involved in a battle.
So we had actually 2 fights going on at one time. Kimble and Rick Zombo. And Kimble known more for his fisticuffs than Zombo. But Zombo holds his own really throughout this, as does Murray Darin, before all 4 of those players end up together in the corner. Meanwhile, Kelly Chase was tied up with Horacek before they decided to be the main event after those other 2 minor events finished, right?
That was exactly what happened.
He wanted top billing.
Oh, as crazy it is, you needed the guy to come out and say, let's get ready to rumble.
And you know what, Mike? There's still plenty of time left in this game, and it's certainly no surprise that these 2 teams would finish the game like this. 5-1. The Blues with a comfortable lead at this point. Still 5:27 to go in regulation time. And these 2 teams go back at it again Friday night in Chicago. And we're going to see a battle there in Chicago as well. So they'll straighten all these penalties out now. If we get a cheer from the crowd. And don't be surprised if this last 5:27 takes 15:27 to play.
Well, Blues fans, this break in the action is a good time for you to break open an ice-cold Budweiser and enjoy that crisp, clean, classic taste. Amen.
We're ready.
Because it's going to be a while before we get back and get all the penalties, so you get time maybe for a second one.
Maybe a third. Now, meanwhile, the story of the game has been the ineffectiveness of the Chicago power play. They've gone 0 for 7. And when the game was 3-1, it was Kelly Chase and Chris Chelios that got involved behind the Chicago net. They came out, ended up getting wrapped up, and then it was Ed Belfour leaving his crease to come to the aid of Chris Chelios. And of course, he doesn't want Chelios getting hurt, so he comes to the aid of his teammate, and Belfour ends up being assessed a double minor on the play. So now the Blues go on the power play for 4 minutes. They score 2 power play goals, one by Kevin Miller, the other one on the breakaway by Peter Nedved, and all of a sudden this game is out of reach for Chicago as the Blues lead it 5-1. And it was shortly after that Darryl Sutter decides to put his line of tough guys out there. Kelly Chase was also on the ice, and that's when everything broke loose here at the arena. And what is going to happen here is the Blues, or at least it looks like right now, will be short-handed.
And they are, because they rule that Zombo was the instigator in the fight. and they put the Blues shorthanded. In that situation, everybody else got fighting majors and game misconducts. And Zombo and Kimble both got game misconducts too, but he got the instigator penalty. So it gives the Hawks the power play, 5-on-4. We're back to action. Chicago trailing 5-1 here in the third period. And Murphy of the Hawks around to the right wing corner of the St. Louis end. Duchesne tried to clear it out, couldn't do it. Bounces free. Suter comes on, but whacked away by the Blues' Brendan Shanahan, and he deals it up into the Chicago into the ice surface. Chelios back to scoop it up. St. Louis 5, and the Hawks just won here in the third, and Roenick streaks through back into the St. Louis end. To Eisenbart on the right wing side. He'll move in, put it behind the net. And Chicago can't get to it, and Duchesne does a good job of wristing the puck off the boards. Right back to the Chicago blue line. Chicago defenseman Gary Suter has played all night long in the power play. Well, Suter really hasn't made many changes on the power play at all. This is their 8th opportunity, and they're 0 for 7. Here's Roenick on the right wing boards. Getting the puck to Chelios. Center point now to Sutter. He skates laterally across to the left point. To Chelios. Shoots it right to the net. Joseph to save. The rebound cleared by the Blues. And back to get the puck at his own line is Chelios. He'll work at right wing into the St. Louis zone. And Housley back with 35 seconds to go on the penalty. 4 minutes now left in regulation. And the Blues again able to direct it up. Penalty killing has been outstanding tonight, and Chicago's power play really hasn't been much to write home about, too. And here comes Carney into the slot, left side of Ruutu, put it in front. They can't deflect it by Joseph. Right back behind the net, Ruutu centers it out, and it will come to Carney at the left point on the right side. Now they get a cross rink over to Ruutu. He fires, save made, rebound. Graham can't beat Joseph. And when you get to the last resort, when they do it, Joseph stops him on every occasion. So, I mean, it's just been a perfect blend here tonight for the Blues in all forms of their special teams and goaltending. Out to the left point, Carney again. Penalty is expired now. Karamov comes back on. Blues have Ruutu is looking at a penalty for that. Looking for Ruutu, I think it's going to be a spearing call here. Karamov using now, he gets involved in a fight, a little hitting match with Weinrich. Karamov apparently put the stick into Christian Ruutu of the Blackhawks. He is headed off, and Ruutu looks towards him as he skates over to say something to him.
Now Karamov had come out of the penalty box, and he just came flying into the zone, and Ruutu didn't have a chance, or at least I didn't think had a chance to see him coming. He does. And boy, Karamov had the stick, ended up right in the midsection or between the legs of Ruutu.
Karamov, you may remember when that whole battle broke out, when they were away from the fight situation of 1433. Somebody came in from behind, Horacek, and hit him from behind, blindsided him.
That's right.
So when he came out, he was looking for the first red shirt I think he could find, and that happened to be Karamov goes off here.
And Christian Ruutu now, he's back up and seems to be okay over at the Chicago bench. And on the play, Karamov broke his stick. He just had a tremendous amount of momentum and tried to step into Ruutu. Ruutu actually on the play tried to sidestep him a little bit and avoid the check, but it was the stick of Karamov that ends up getting Ruutu.
And it's a 5-minute major for spearing in the game misconduct. They have only 2 minutes posted on the board. They're going to have to correct that. It should be a 5-minute major penalty.
And right now the 2 minutes is...
Oh, I'm sorry, it's the Cunningham. Cunningham gets a 2-minute minor for roughing. They have put the 5 up on the Blues side. My apologies.
Yeah, it was Cunningham that actually ended up taking the swing at Karamov after the play. So the situation is this, 3:15 to go now in regulation time. The Blues are up 5-1. They'll play 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes. And then the Blackhawks will have a power play for the remaining 1 minute and 15 seconds.
Well, you told me before the game that the Blues were involved in a very, maybe not quite a similar game in Detroit over the last weekend. And they've been in a lot of these real feisty type of games with a lot of physical play, and tonight was no exception here, too.
Yeah, I think this game was certainly a little more cleaner up until the last 3 or 4 minutes or so, and we've seen a lot of outbreaks, but the game in Chicago much more sticking right from the start of that game.
Here comes Carney at the left side now, and the Blues in the quick play to Graham, and he robbed by Joseph on a quick shot from the left wing circle. Wow.
Is he something? And even on this save on Graham, who got the shot out quickly, and the crowd is now bowing to Curtis Joseph behind, but Graham gets the shot out quickly, and Curtis Joseph makes the glove save and then looks to see if it's in the net. He's not sure if he has it. Finally feels it in his glove and just kind of tucks it in like it was easy. But he has really been something tonight. The shots on goal, 40 for Chicago, 30 for the Blues, 16-7 in this period favoring Chicago.
Both teams shorthanded by a man. And when it's all done, Chicago, unless things change, of course, will have a power play late in this contest. Here's Jim McKinley, though, bringing it back to the St. Louis Blues. Good pass, David Mackey. Gets into the Chicago end, puts the brakes on. It's as far as it went as he lost control of the puck. Jeff Chance now stepping up in the play for Chicago. Eric Weinrich, the Hawks defenseman, will move down the right wing. Play is cut off by the Blues. They again have the puck, and Tilly swings it up to David Mackey. 2.5 to go here in the third period. The Blues 5, the Hawks 1. They'll regroup and go to Chicago and play on Friday night. The Hawks and Luke trying to get into the St. Louis end. He can't make that play. They're just toying with the puck right now. They really don't have anything to do but kill the clock. We'll bring it on. Back to the Chicago end. Comes in with a backhand shot. The top of the stick to Eddie Belfour and up into the seats. Belfour out making a nice move to come in.
He really did, pardon me, Mike. He made a terrific move after taking a long. Chelios is a defenseman. He'll go inside out, and then Chelios is able to come back, though, and make the defensive play. Chelios came all the way back, got back in the play, and then it was actually the stick of Chris Chelios that deflected the backhand shot by Belfour up and over the glass. That's a tremendous recovery by the Norris Trophy winner of a year ago, Chris Chelios.
Face-off controlled by Chicago. 2 minutes left in regulation. Blues again. Watch the Hawks come on the center circle. Jeremy Roenick. Spin it right wing. Dubitsky tried to take the pass. He couldn't do it. The Blues take it away. Crossman. They got Korolev. Unable to get to Dubitsky. And the Hawks again settle in here with the puck at their own line. Roenick with 1:37 to go. In 20 seconds, they will get a power play here for the rest of the game. Suter comes in, he'll run right into Korolev and just swing the puck on the backhand behind the Blues goal. Prokhorov again takes a lead pass, breaking back to the Chicago end left side. Korolev takes a good shot, partially deflected. Chicago has the puck, and Dubinsky coming to center red, and he'll just gain the St. Louis blue line and shoot the puck in. On the power play now, the Chicago Blackhawks with 1:07 to go in the third period. They have to go all the way back to their own end to take possession.
Now this is the 9th power play for Chicago. We go into the last minute of play of regulation time.
And the Blues continue really kind of the Hawks this year. Play very well against them. Here's Shanahan losing the puck, and it comes down to Rich center, and he put the shot block picked up, and a hard drive by Chelios at the outside of the pipe. Goes behind the goal. Around now in front of center, and he snaps one off again wide of the cage. Right point, here's Chelios, 35 to go in the game. Around to Jeff Chance. Chance of the Hawks. Couldn't connect on the play behind the goal to Rich center. Hawks working around to the left point. Carney's out there. Poked it down the board. Blues are going to get to it, and Duchesne wraps it around the goal. They go all the way back to the Chicago end. Back on the clock out. 15 seconds to go. Chelios back and realizing they aren't going to score here. He just comes up very slowly. Don't let the time run out. It comes to Chance on the left wing. Gets to the St. Louis blue line. Get down to 4. And they'll pick it off. And the Blues will be winners of the night against Chicago. And that does it. That wraps it up. Big night for the St. Louis Blues. They come off the road trip, and you think maybe two might be a little leery and the legs a little weak, but they play a strong game, and their special teams superb tonight.
Yeah, they really were. That was the difference in the game, Mike. The special teams, Chicago 0 for 9 on the power play. The Blues with 3 power play goals.